and we are live on YouTube, so I think you can start.
Good evening. This is HNN, the Holotable News Network, as you're not even remotely close to around the clock Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news, reactions, reviews, theory crafting, and more source. I'm Faye34, your host emeritus, old person from the very beginning. They let me do the intro again. These are, it just rolls off the tongue. But joined my two illustrious co-hosts, CeliacSarah. Welcome back is what I normally say, but the welcome back, I don't know. Welcome always.
Well, welcome back to you.
Yeah, to me, that's where it should be centered around. And with me for the first time, or I'm with him for the first time, Pico Burrito. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Faye, how you doing? So here's the question, Sarah. Is this kind of like, you had your friends from high school, and then you go off to college, and your friends from college, and they come together, and you're just like, oh, you guys both had different parts of my life, and now you're coming together. Please don't tell stories that the other one's never heard. Is that what this is really coming down to?
I was like thinking about this, and I was like, oh, they're gonna get along.
It's true, by the way.
Yeah.
I might storm out at some time. That's what normally I would go from here with stuff, but now you guys actually host. I'm to be in the side, or am I to say why I'm here now?
Well, okay, so for those who didn't listen,
it's to sell vitamins. Let me direct you to W.
So, Faye, you started H&N, like this was your baby, and then you quit. Way back.
But yeah, I quit. This actually kept me going for the game for way longer than I was going to. But the only reason it was even remotely anyone more than two people watched is because Sergi and Sarah were awesome. And I was just there to facilitate such things. And it has continued to grow well beyond what I was doing. I was holding it back. Pico specifically said, I never listened and you were on, but then you were off. And I was like, maybe I'll try that show.
I believe those were my exact words. That was not the spirit of the words that I used, but we can review that later. So,
but for real, you quit before Jedi Knight Luke came out.
Yeah,
and then you started playing again. When?
Yep.
6 months ago.
6 months ago. So, I mean, a little into it, and I thought people might like the background of whether you're deciding someday to quit or something. I went cold turkey.
Yeah.
It was just kind of the continual rat race of the game just wasn't exciting to me anymore.
Yeah.
And I knew if I stayed on at all, I wouldn't enjoy it, or I couldn't get away from getting like crystal. So it needed to be a cold turkey. That being said, it was super easy. Like once you're not hunting for crystals, like after 4 days or whatever, I never thought about the game for years. So I think I think people, if you just delete it off phone, I also spent all of my like 20,000 crystals on Relic 7, which was the highest at the time, Krennic and Death Trooper, because they were my favorite. Slightly. Because even Krennic got a datacron, like all that stuff, and it was still terrible. He has like the worst Omicron. He's my picture in game because I think he's a dope character in the movies, but he's terrible in the game. Anyway, and then didn't think about it for 3.5, 4 years. And then my son wanted to play. And I'm like, all right, we'll see. We'll get playing with that. Shout out to Jack. He's excited I'm back on the show. He's a little more cognizant of it now. But so yeah, started doing that. And maybe some of the other things will come in later on, but that's enough of me talking for now of what it's like to join after 4 years.
Awesome. And not that the show has gotten even remotely close to PG-13 rated, but just so we're clear, how old's your son? Because sometimes Sarah does still talk about Django, and we just need to make sure that she protects her language in those cases. All right.
He's 13, and had to sit him down to have the Sarah talk.
Yeah. Yikes.
So sometimes that it can be rough. But it needs to happen. It's part of being family. So
I started, side note, like on episodes that I remember that I swear in, I've started marking them as explicit so that people don't like tag me being like, my kid was in the car.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
It's all right. He'll survive. He'll survive.
I made a comment to Sarah a couple weeks ago. My 13-year-old swore in front of me for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and it rolled off his tongue way too comfortably from that standpoint. So it's I would like to think that he should not be hearing these words, but the reality is I'm pretty sure that he has said all of them. So
100%.
And he did not learn them from me. I will just tell you that right now.
And he's still locked in the basement.
Yes.
I'm dreading the day that I get like the call from the teacher at school being like, did you know what Jasper said today? And I'm like, I can probably guess.
No.
That he loves me very much and is proud of all of my institutional learning.
Okay. But now that you're back, Faye, for today, we have news in the game, and you're playing, so you're gonna give us
I'm pretty up to speed with the things now.
The stuff
and I think I like some things that other people don't like because they're still new to me, like datacrons and Conquest are great.
I love Conquest.
Those are awesome. So maybe I'll get sick of them over the next 3 years, but they're both fun.
I love it.
I think most people have settled on datacrons aren't as bad as when they first came out. I think that they've hit the mark of where they're at. Conquest is a tough opinion to share in the community. I think there's a lot of people that are not going to agree with the word you just said around that Conquest piece. But
that's like you get to actually like put some puzzle pieces together. Also, I think my current roster is in the like I do actually have to think about it and plan it out.
Sure.
Right. The people that have like I don't have Inquisitors, so all those ones I can't do any of that stuff. But I can get the gold. Is that the second to last one? I got the gold one the last few times by like it actually feels like it's a fun little puzzle because I don't have everything to do it. Whereas I can totally see like hitting auto for these 9 Inquisitor things is super boring. But
that's awesome.
I just realized you were not playing when like the Datacron leak happened and all of that.
Oh man. I mean, if there's like some
that
deep
whole thing
inside on these things for how about that? What did people say when they found out they were like timed things? You know what I mean? Like the 3 months, I can see them being like, "Oh, that's ridiculous," or were they like, "Oh, that makes sense"?
More so on the ridiculous side.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Yeah, I probably would have felt the same, but now I think it's kind of a cool little thing.
Yeah,
I think that people miss the fact that it was designed to keep things fresh in a game that gets really stale because no matter you can add as many new teams as you want, the old ones are still going to function the way that they are. Look, there's a part of the community that anything that CG does, especially that doesn't have a big gold letter stamped value forever on it, are going to believe that it's some type of cash grab or something to that. And I think that was a big piece of it, is that the fact that they went away was nothing more than a mean-spirited cash grab to destroy things. I think a lot of that has kind of fallen out over time, whether that's
it's still
people
true.
It is. It's 100. Yes, the two things can be true at the same time.
Yes, that's what I was like. They're not wrong, but it doesn't have to mean that it's a terrible thing either.
Yeah. Whether people have come to accept it or it's just a case that it's just a part of what it is, and it's just sometimes it's just you get tired being angry all the time. That they've just moved on to being angry about something else. Who knows?
I mean, that's this still existing segment of, I love you, I know.
Yeah.
Was made, 7 years ago for that purpose of people were angry and jaded about it then. So that hasn't changed one bit. The hate makes you come back. That's half the game. They're all the dark side characters.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Okay, do we want to talk about the news? The headlines?
Sure.
It sounds like you're like, shut up, fake. Come on.
No. I would never say to shut up. But actually, do we want to start with datacrons or the patch notes, or we have a kit that I haven't read?
Let's start with the kit.
Okay, so
Let's start with the kit.
I'm glad there's still classic blind Sarah Reed.
Can I just say, people are calling him Pow, like Padawan Obi Wan, and I don't like it.
Because there's already the legit Rogue One.
There's already a legit Pow.
Yeah.
So I would like to introduce Padawan Obi. All one word.
How about Obi Wan?
Poby.
How about Poopy?
Poopy?
How about we agree on Poopy?
How about Loverboy 1?
The baby lover boy.
Baby lover boy.
I think Rat Tail might work.
I was gonna say, I was just about to say, do we have a Jedi yet in game that has the little rat tail going on? I don't think we do.
I think Jedi and Anakin might have one, but the model is so poorly animated that you can't really see it.
Like, just look at that. You can even, he's got the red elastic and everything. Like, that is next level.
My daughter's, the floor of her bedroom is just covered in those right now. It makes me sick just seeing that. So.
Okay, so he's a Marquee, and Meathead confirmed. Same Marquee structure as the Gungans.
Okay.
So we're still getting the daily shards. RJ,
I want a little background. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. So this is like, you'll put in some money for...
I will, yeah.
All Marquees, some Marquees?
I'm at the point that it's all Marquees. So I've talked about this in other places. I've got this weird thing at work that they do this, hey, when you do a good job, here's some bonus bucks that they give you. And you can turn those bonus bucks into gift cards. And then I use those gift cards as part of to do this. So it's not really real money that I'm spending in that case, although I really admit that I spend on that. My wife is convinced it's a money laundering scam, that people just randomly send me money from this way, from that piece. But yeah, I like things early. This is Star Wars Pokemon for me. Got to catch them all, and I prefer to do that as much as possible. So yeah.
Cool. I mean, it's good for the show to have someone that can talk about it before 9 months later, like we used to. So
I have everything. It's you're mistaking that I actually understand what they do and I'm good at using them. That's always the problem. It's
sometimes you gotta learn on what they can't do. So.
Button mash. That's all there is to it. I like this new Marquee structure though, because like I've just been doing the two gamble packs, and it's a huge difference. Like, I quite enjoy that. So, oh yeah, RJ said in chat, POW is different than POW, like PO, which like yes, POW is different than PAO, but they're said the same, so it's not different.
Not the podcasters,
right? It's like there, and there.
How would they know if you're putting in our boy POW into a Galactic Legend team, or it's a different one?
Right.
And we make bad decisions, so it could be the wrong POW. You just never know.
That would be funny.
Right. Sorry, I have a fussiness happening, but we're okay. Sorry?
She's referring to me by
okay, so let's look at the kit. Padawan Obi. I'm still doing it. You guys can call him Poby. I'm still gonna go with Padawan Obi.
Padawan Obi, got it.
Okay, so Attacker, Galactic Republic, Jedi, nothing really crazy. Ooh, also is gonna get his own Datacron, which they also confirmed is exclusive. You can only get it in the Marquee.
Correct.
So you can't
7-star. So you gotta get him to the 7-star level to unlock it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can't roll for it, you can't re-roll for it. But Anyway, a whole bunch of stuff that I don't care about.
By the way, can we complain about tags for a minute?
Yes.
He has a Jedi tag.
Yes.
He is quite literally called Padawan Obi Wan Kenobi. He is not a Jedi.
So can like JTR get her Jedi tag? Because she's Jedi training.
Yes.
She's basically Padawan.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
That's a great point.
Teacher's favorite. That's all that he really is.
Yeah. Okay. So his basic is practiced aggression. I've also heard that these animations are fantastic. I haven't even looked at them. So, man, he's even got the little ponytail going at the back. Where's his braid here?
You can see it coming down over his ear, like he's wearing wired headphones still.
Wired headphones. Gosh, it's like it's 2015 or something.
It's a great point. Like in this game, you see more of the back of their heads, so it's more like obvious here.
Okay, so deal physical damage and inflict potency down on target enemy for 1 turn. If that enemy has 50% or more health, Padawan Obi Wan gains 20% turn meter and foresight for 1 turn. Deal 5% more damage, stacking max 50% for each stack of heal over time he has. If there was an ally Master Qui-Gon at the start of battle, if the target enemy has less than 50% health, Padawan Obi Wan gains defense penetration up and offense up for 1 turn. Okay.
Relatively straightforward.
I find it interesting that he has something that calls out Qui-Gon when they were like, yeah, these guys are coming in for Queen Amidala.
Yeah.
But let me call in the other guy real quick.
I like that this is the straightforward basic now.
Yeah. This is
an old guy talking. I know you're with it too, but just like the basic used to be like, and gain 4% turn meter. Yeah. And that was the basic.
Deal physical damage.
No, it's only 2 paragraphs. You're like, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Also, Padawan Obi Wan, that's such a mouthful to say. I don't like that.
You sound pretty cool doing it though.
Oh man.
Padawan. Oh, I already.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Obi, it is for me.
So special 1, redirected blast, cooldown of 3, also very cool for the animation. More basic than the basic. Deal physical damage to target enemy and daze them for 2 turns. If this attack critically hits, remove 100% turn meter from target enemy, and Padawan Obi-Wan gains 100 speed for 2 turns. Holy, this attack can't be evaded. Yikes.
I will take anything that removes 100% turn meter.
Yeah. And you get speed.
Right.
Man.
Ridiculous. Yep.
Yeah. That sounds really cool. All right. Cool. Sweeping assault, cooldown, also a cooldown of 3. Let's just admire.
That animation is insane.
That is. I feel like my game's gonna crash one day playing this. Like they just keep upping the ante.
I have to play it on PC now.
I know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Deal physical damage and inflict defense down for 2 turns on all enemies. Then, if there is an active ally, Queen Amidala, deal damage again. Galactic Republic Jedi allies gain crit chance up and offense up for 2 turns. So, an AoE that hits twice.
Yep.
Yeah, and defense down is great.
Yeah.
We're already removing turn meter and getting more speed on stuff.
Yeah. This is... I would like it.
That's a question that I have. So FaZe, you're coming back in after a couple of years, and there's been a lot of changes, in particular, like some of the defense stuff. Have you noticed like the changes to defense and the defense is a more viable stat? Like, is that something you've noticed over the last 6 months? Has that come through as you're playing?
Well, so when I started back, there was at that time there were datacrons that were like pushing 300% defense.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran into one or two of them, and it was just like you're hitting for 200 damage.
Yeah.
I mean, like straight 200, not like, oh, you got only 20,000 on that hit. It was like 200.
Yeah.
And so that became like a big part to that. So yes, and I think I'm all for it, but so that's why defense down now, to me, I don't think that would have been as relevant 5 years ago.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is now, if that's accurate.
I would agree.
Yeah. It's one of those, it's this interesting thing that I think defense has slowly crept into the kits over the past couple of years. So maybe it wasn't, it's like anything that comes in slowly, all of a sudden it's there and you didn't really realize the change where, man, I'm really interested in your perspective on a lot of these things, because you just got this gap where a lot of changes happened and then you came back and kits are different and characters are different, but there's also mechanics that are different and just kind of that point of view of like, to your point, like, yeah, the defense thing all of a sudden, like it used to be you'd put defense on a character and not notice it. You saw firsthand where you came back in and all of a sudden it matters now. Like that had to have been weird.
Yeah, no, they had, previously there were like the armor stats were almost nothing unless it was like 3 characters, like Stormtrooper mattered and Holdo kind of, like she was one I actually put defense on, and then L3. Like those are the only 3 characters that have like full defense mods for me. I don't even think that's true now. Like I think you put like health on L3 and blah blah blah, but like that, all the rest of them were irrelevant. Like no one cared about defense at all. But just like my boys, the Timberwolves, right now, we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. Or, making it in style again to have defense.
Well, wait, hang on. I'm going to point this out. So you're going to go jump on Crate with Zareth talking about the Nuggets tomorrow. You've got Fan today about the Timberwolves. You're going to have to take a stand. Fan? He is. Yeah, he's a
Nuggets fan.
You're gonna have to draw a line in the sand.
I don't want to get too far ahead, but those are some of the best basketball games I've ever watched in my life. Tomorrow, throw a heat pack at the screen for me, Sarah. You might know what that means.
I have no idea what that means, but we'll pretend I do. I feel like I'm gonna have to work that in somehow.
You please.
Okay, so he has a unique. Okay, his unique's the Omicron, and it's a Conquest Omicron, which is great. Nobility.
Have you scroll down to the unique, by the way, after reading those last 2 specials, which were like legitimately one sentence.
I know.
Almost.
Yeah, they were shorter than the basic.
Yeah.
Nobility and restraint. So at the start of battle, Padawan Obi gains 25% crit chance for each other Galactic Republic ally, and if there's an ally Master Qui-Gon and Queen Amidala, he gains discipline until the end of battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. He has plus 5% crit chance stacking, max 50% for each stack of heal over time on him, and plus 5% crit damage stacking, max 50% for each stack of protection over time on him. If there is an ally Master Qui-Gon, whenever he uses an ability, whenever Qui-Gon uses an ability, Padawan Obi Wan assists, dealing 40% less damage. The first time Master Qui-Gon is defeated, Padawan Obi Wan takes a bonus turn and gains 5% offense for each relic amplifier level Master Qui-Gon had for 4 turns. Oh, that's a mouthful. If there is an active Handmaiden decoy, Padawan Obi-Wan grants her 50% defense. If Padawan Obi-Wan is active, whenever another ally is critically hit, they gain defense up for 1 turn, and Padawan Obi-Wan gains crit damage up for 1 turn. Okay. Discipline. Attacks can't be countered. So, like, his attacks can't be countered whenever this character, right?
That never had discipline, which right now is just him, but I bet later could be other people.
Right. So when he attacks, you can't counter him. Whenever this character gains a stack of protection over time, they also gain a stack of heal over time for 2 turns. This character's attacks ignore protection. Ooh, I think that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we got to talk about this part before you go into the next one because that's its own.
That's huge. Like you're just
but
going.
there are a lot. I mean, you brought up the defense. I think that the 2 big things for me from that were the ignore protection.
Yep.
That's giant, and then the 50% defense to the decoy.
Yep.
Again, you're going like she's already probably pretty stocky, and then you're adding the 50% defense, and then you're adding whatever Master Qui-Gon's gonna do, MQG.
Yeah.
We'll see about that, but like those seem like she'd be hard to get around.
And that's just like the regular part of the unique. That's not the Omicron.
And one Zeta.
One Zeta. That is a strange. What a time.
So am I reading this? I'm probably reading this wrong. So the first time Master Qui-Gon is defeated, Padawan Obi Wan takes a bonus turn and gains 5% offense for each relic amplifier. The first time when you read that, I took that as he took a bonus turn for every relic amplifier level on Master Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
So if he was relic,
I think they're 2 separate things.
Yeah.
But you could absolutely read it like that, but in my head it's ridiculous. So I
was hoping that's what it was at first, and it would just be like, here's 40% offense, and now go take 8 turns and see what happens.
You know, what I've realized is CG doesn't like to include the word also in their kits.
Yes.
And that would make this a lot smoother.
Or, I don't know, periods.
Or, you know.
But is that enough? Like, is the 40% offense if he's at Relic 8? Like, that's about as cool of a moment as they have in the entire series, is him avenging Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
40% offense seems a little like meh. Maybe he is gonna take 8 turns.
He's only a Padawan. What do you want from him?
That's a good point. I mean, that's what I want from him.
Honestly, he basically killed Maul with 1 turn anyway. Does he really need more than 1 turn? That's just jump up and cut him in half. So
literally like 1 turn. It was like 3.
Okay. Omicron. So while in conquests, that's weird.
There you go. That's the main part to it already.
Yeah.
That we're gonna have multiple conquests running at the same time. If they're gonna let you run normal or easy, normal, and hard, that's what this is.
Yeah. You heard it here first. Start the panic. Allies gain 10% max health and max protection and 30 speed. Allies gain an additional 10% max health and max protection for each relic amplifier level Padawan Obi Wan has. Cut the offense of Sith enemies in half until the end of battle. Okay. Padawan Obi Wan has a 50% chance to take a bonus turn whenever an enemy ends their turn. Whenever he starts this bonus turn, allies recover 75% health, gain 75% offense for 2 turns, and enemies are inflicted with buff immunity and healing immunity for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. If his stamina is 50% or greater, whenever an ally uses a special ability, they inflict accuracy down, crit chance down, crit damage down, defense down, evasion down, offense down, potency down, speed down, stagger, and tenacity down on target enemy for 2 turns, which can't be evaded. If his stamina is 50% or greater, whenever he uses a special ability, all allies gain accuracy up, crit chance up, crit damage up, defense up, evasion up, offense up, potency up, speed up, and tenacity up for 2 turns. That's a lot of buffs and debuffs.
Yes.
I like it.
I think it's great for getting buff feats.
Yep.
I think it's terrible for getting debuffs.
I don't think it's necessary at all, but I like it.
So
that could cut down on actual, like refreshes, or you get more I don't know, datacron refreshes type of thing. If you're
Yeah.
that would help someone like me that doesn't have all the teams for that you can do that. And since you're doing, if you need 100 defense downs, since it's all the allies that do it, like the 4 other people, you get to add all that defense down over and over and over. So you'll get some of those in place. Like I could see that being beneficial. I mean, they went through their Omicron, like, oh, should we do these in Conquest? And it was all like 90% no's. And I think, no, like only people to be silly are getting the Gungan one. But to me, this one's like, you know what? Maybe that would be one I would do, even though I'm like 90 behind Omicrons of what.
Yeah. But I mean, to that point, so you're getting gold box right now, which means you'll have Queen Amidala in 6 months total, right? So you're not like, she won't be a character that you'll have to go chase her out of the proving grounds, correct?
Can I discuss that for a second?
Yeah.
As a new person, I have Darth Bane at Relic 8.
Okay.
I am like a full year yet away from getting Scion Django.
Yeah.
Like that is, and there's no real way for me to get it other than giant crystal. And like it seems very silly to me that it is way harder for me to get Ben Solo than it is to get Darth Bane.
Yeah.
That's all. Like or I can't. Leviathan is not an option for me. It's not like it's like, wow, if I keep working at this for 4 months, it's literally not an option for me for at least another 14 months. Like they just put the ship into the proving ground, so I'm at 20 out of like 330. So we're looking at 15 months.
Yeah.
Unless I'm putting in all these crystals to that. So if you don't hit that window, which you don't realize if you're playing it all the time, like those ones are very difficult to get. Like I would say something else should be added to those things to make that happen, because I don't know, it just seems weird as someone where this was not an option earlier for me to get Darth Bane and be wrecking fools with it.
How do you feel about them adding like the extra day of proving grounds if you buy the Pass Plus?
I feel like I'm not going to spend $30.
Yeah.
But,
I'm just curious.
I get it. Like that's the whole like, oh, they just want you to spend money or crystals, but there isn't almost everything else. Like I'm working towards Leia now. Like everything that's in that is achievable if I put my resources towards that.
Yeah.
But the Leviathan is not achievable for me to get, even if it was like my sole focus. At most, I could get another, I could make it go down a few months, but it's just a really far away. And Malicos, I'm not going to have Malicos until I graduate or whatever.
Well, and the problem with Leviathan in particular, you need 2 different conquest pieces. So that's you're running it. Now, the fun part will be is when you actually unlock the Leviathan before Sarah gets it to 7 stars.
I heard that. So I listened to the last 2. You guys were great. That was which is not uncommon of Sarah to be just like no, I'm not. We were doing these things 5 years ago to be like, you just have to, very little effort here. She's like, no, I want BB-8. Back off.
Hey, I took my Relic 9.
Yeah,
he's
excellent.
BB-9.
Glad to see it. It's still, cool.
I'm still doing dumb stuff. No, but like using Leviathan actually as the example, it's even like crazier that it's such a long wait too, because by the time you roll around to it, there's going to be another meta out.
Yeah.
Like, why would it even be worthwhile to...
That's what Leviathan is totally out of the equation for me. It's not even something I can consider. Plus, like, that's not even adding the whole thing that you're talking about of, like, unlocking it, waiting for that time of month.
Yeah.
Getting 4-star, and then maybe doing refreshes on it or not. Like it's like that's another however many months that you're going to do that on. So it's that's a long journey and too long relative to other things, I would say.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate.
So I'm looking at the debuff piece.
Okay.
And I did miss that all of the allies will add all of those. But they get 75% more offense for 2 turns when it happens as well, which means they're going to hit. Hopefully they don't kill the target because debuffs don't count unless the target lives.
Right.
It's not going to be a case that you're going to be able to turn over a bunch of turns and stack them up very quickly. You might get like 6 turns or something like that, because they should be, especially if you have characters that are maybe pushing up into, Relic 3, Relic 4, Relic 5 in that area. They're going to hit really, really hard. Like you're going to have to take off all of your data discs.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
don't overkill.
Like stacking offense builds are not going to be friendly for this.
Yeah.
But you can throw some BB-8 in there. You just keep rolling back and forth. Add 3PO. Hermit Yoda.
That's actually not a bad idea. Putting a bunch of ones that don't do anything at that point. Right. But yeah.
Just to get the debuffs.
Yeah.
But that's, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Okay, so that's Obi Wan. Yay.
Sure.
It took me till now to the Sith offense in half was like, that is super random and dumb.
Do you get it now?
I'm there now. I think it's cool. Because I was about to comment, I'm like, that's just so like, boy, I wish in Conquest I wish the offense was cut in half. That's so stupid going this rant. And then it occurs to me. 25 years the movie comes out.
It's all fine. I skimmed the Q&A that they posted. I didn't see anything that was overly shocking.
I saw everything I needed to. I think you can get everything out of the Q&A is simple. It's the Gungan Marquee structure, which I think everyone wanted to know. The Datacron is going to roll with a specific set of stats all the way up to Relic 9. So everyone's going to get the same Datacron structure. The Datacron will dust. And someone suggested a bunch of nicknames from Meathead.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, a lot of relevant data in the Q&A.
Hey, he's new. There's a lot more puns to these things than last time I was here. I don't know if they're any better at like actually interacting with the community or answering things, but there's a little more humor in posts.
Do you remember, Faye? Because right before you quit, we were playing DSA, and Meathead was the community manager for DSA.
Oh, yes. And he said he was totally good. That's the same guy?
The same guy.
Going to be on the show, and they never did.
Oh.
Now I'm angered. Darn
it. If it makes you feel any better, he doesn't come
like a weird little like European general outfit as his Discord thing.
I think it's the same.
Oh, yeah. You heard right?
Same guy.
Okay, all
so
right.
You missed the rough start to Meathead. It was a rough start.
It was a rough start, yeah.
Uh-oh.
I think that there are still some people that would like to see him engage with the community different. He does a great job of engaging on the SWGOH events Discord server. I think what you can say is a positive about him is he actually is going out and actively soliciting feedback from the community and then trying to drive those changes. And I'll save my take on the Datacron until we get into some other stuff. But I appreciate the effort that he's putting in to try and like it's clear that when he's asking for feedback and people are giving them feedback, he turns around and gets some version of that implemented, which I think that's a win. I do think it'd be great if maybe he was in a couple other places besides events. Not the HNN server, because that would probably ruin any chance of us ever getting him on the show.
And he did. Dar's right in chat. He did stop trolling the Red 5 thing.
Yes.
So that was good.
Yeah.
Because that was.
Yeah. Why was the intro bad?
No, he would troll us for Red 5. So like, he did a stream one time, and his background was the Red 5. It was just like a literal like a number 5 that was red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was this case like, if you look at the first level of it, letter of every paragraph, it's spelled out Red 5 or things like that. So, yeah.
Or he would highlight the 5th cell in
still
red.
Not in game.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all stopped, which is refreshing. Okay. I guess we can look at there really isn't much in the patch notes that went out today, other than carpal tunnel is farmable on 2A Cantina.
I was surprised by the reaction to that from people.
Like that it was a Cantina farm?
That they weren't. But I expected people to be more upset about it because it was 2 Cantina characters released so closely together.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because everyone's so beaten down by the high energy stop node, that people are like, oh, 2A, it'll be really fast. That's better than stop.
I mean, it is.
Yeah. I just figured people would be angry because we don't typically get 2 Cantina characters this close together.
I love a Cantina farm. I saw that today and I was like, hell yeah, 2A, even better.
Where were you when you were fist pumping like that?
At work. At work.
Like in your car. Who else saw that in real life?
Quite a few.
They're like, did you win the lottery? No, pardon me, but
I have
8 energy. No.
I have no shame at work, and they all know my ridiculous swugga tendencies, so it's fine.
Excellent. No one at my work knows I'm this nerdy. Pretty close, but
pretty close. And then we got datacrons. Right? That's it.
Yes, we did.
I hear that they're quite good.
I can't tell if they're good anymore. Here's what I know to be true about datacrons. We always get a set. People always pick out the ones that are going to be great. And out of those ones that are going to be great, one of them turns out to be not good.
Yeah.
Like Darth Sidious. Everyone thought that Darth Sidious was going to revolutionize the game and he was just going to be chopping arms off of fools. And it's just like, oh, he beats a Kit Fisto-led, Galactic Republic Jedi team, and that's it.
Is that a thing?
I hope not.
Okay, all right. I hadn't heard that one before that. I assumed not, but I was like, oh no, if I get a couple of those by me.
Face
I don't know all of them.
You're like, you're playing a different game.
So who knows? Some of them look really interesting, but I feel like I'm gonna pick the wrong one.
I always just look for the longest word one. Because I feel like that's probably the best.
100%. Like, is there
there's like a 2-paragraph
that
one.
First order and the what they do for that level 6 one? It's just like there's 4 tiny ones and 1 giant one.
Yeah, like look at that. That's like 3 paragraphs right there. 4.
More words has to be good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, there is like what in the middle of the 4th paragraph, it just says like all previous sentences are eliminated.
I was going to say this contract is null and void.
Pray I don't alter farther.
Yeah.
But no one reads that far, so why doesn't this work?
Yeah, but like, look at that. I haven't even read the whole thing yet, and it sounds amazing. Whenever a first order ally scores a critical hit, the leader gains 10% offense, stacking max 200% until the end of the encounter. If the leader scores a critical hit, they gain an additional 10% offense, and all other First Order allies recover 15% health and protection. I don't even need to read the rest. I know I want that one.
So
Yeah, does that stop at the 200? The additional for the leader?
I guess it would stack. Like, that's it. You'd
Anyway,
get
that's like one of those, another confusing part to still stop at 200, or does that additional 10%? That doesn't have a max, so.
Do you want to know why it's even better than what you just read on there? Have you seen the First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter?
No.
Level 9?
No, I have not.
So, while Allied Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is active, First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter can't be defeated.
Okay.
And what does
he's on offense.
Yeah. What does he have in his kit? It is
he has a blaster.
Literally never use them.
Yeah, he has an AE attack. So great. Bump him up with a bunch of crit chance, give him advantage. He crits 5 times, and all of a sudden you've now got 100% crit immunity. And by the way, he can't die. So Kylo Ren is going to have 200% crit or 200% offense like that.
That's nice.
Yes.
Man.
And then, by the way, there's a whole bunch of other stuff on top of it. Like, if the leader, whenever the ally in the leader slot or TIE pilot is damaged while they have advantage, stun that enemy for 1 turn. So, what are you going to do?
The annoying Ewok ones.
Yeah.
The Kylo one is pretty nice considering it's 1 sentence.
Kylo
deals 5% more damage per relic amplifier level on all allies present at the start of battle. So if you have a full, like, let's lowball here and say relic 7, all allies, I would assume, would that include yourself or no? Are you technically an ally?
Yeah.
You're on the team. Yeah. You're an ally.
Yeah.
I would.
Right? So, what did I say? Relic 7?
Yep.
35%. 35 times 5. That's
Keep going, you'll get there. Darn it. Sarah math still exists. Okay. All right.
I gotta do it in the air. 35.
I was really like, maybe she's grown over the past 4 years.
105? No, that's not right.
No.
Keep going.
175?
Almost a little too high.
I don't know what it is. 35 times 5. Wait, what's 25 times 5? 125.
Yeah.
And then I add 10 5 times.
Yeah, that's 175.
Yeah, I was right.
You said 1. Apologies. I heard 165.
I'll give you it. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
The Sarah math is still a thing.
But by the way, Sarah's math is going to come in really handy when you've got to teach little man like the way they teach math these days, because that's how they do it.
Well, just now she's like, I'm like, no, that's wrong when she said the right one. I'm out. I'm just gonna go.
I'm still scarred from like getting into arguments with my math teachers because I had the answer right, but I did the work wrong.
I'm with you, Sarah.
That's a great one though. These look good. Yeah. We've got Inquisitor ones, which there's a ton of. So 9th, 2nd, and 7th get a. Oh, and 3rd. Get a Datacron.
And 9th looks really strong.
I know you don't have these. 9th is the big beefy
or the fat one.
Fat one.
Okay. The fat one.
Yeah, that does look pretty strong. 200% max health and immune to ability block.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
And then 20% bonus damage, true damage based on max health. Like, I guess we're going back to Fast 9 Sisters again.
Gross. Did you see Tech coming as a level 9?
I did not. I did not see Tech coming.
Have you guys finished Bad Batch season 3?
I have the last episode left to watch.
All right, I won't say anything.
I've seen the first two, but not the last one.
I won't say
No,
anything.
this season. Sorry, the first 2 seasons. We haven't started the last one because we're watching X-Men '97, and it's dope.
Is it good?
It's so good.
All right.
Don't say that lightly.
I won't say anything then, but there's tech.
But it's next. It's next. After this, we're going into Bad Batch.
Okay.
Season 3.
I need to get that last episode done in the next couple of weeks because I'm ready for the Acolyte.
Yeah, you gotta finish. And then Gungan's got their datacrons, which I don't think anyone is surprised about.
Yeah.
Like that's an obvious one. I don't know. I don't think there's anything.
Yeah, that's not one I would look at, but Pico, is there a good?
So I read through them.
Gungan one.
I think Jar Jar will probably be the default one to take.
Mm-hmm.
What will be interesting is like with the Boss Nass one. Whenever an enemy is afflicted with because he doesn't plasma. What I wonder is if you can put an Omicron on a Datacron on the 4-man team and actually have them do something in GAC. Because they were beating, who were they beating? They're beating like that General Grievous team in GAC. Like, is this something that you're going to be able to actually maybe get an undermanned squad with in GAC by putting one of these other Datacrons on? It'll be interesting to see that.
And we're getting really particular. Then what are you going to do with Jar Jar?
Well, because I'm saying like for most people that don't have Jar Jar, because a lot of people don't have Jar Jar yet. So is because if not, if you can't do something with, if you've got 4 and you didn't unlock Jar Jar, you're still working on them right now. That becomes just a completely worthless faction to put to build a Datacron for.
Right now, that doesn't that's like, oh, you're probably there. Like you either have it or you don't. But like a week from Jar Jar won't be there, and then you get it. So then you have 3 months of
because we're not going to see him for another 3 months, which means he'll likely be back, and people will get like one more 5v5 with the Jar Jar Omicron with that Datacron. Man, I keep saying these backwards today, but it works out that way. So I wonder if people are going to be able to do something with that, as they're building up that team, because otherwise that really becomes a third of the options out of the Datacron set become worthless for people because they can't do anything with them.
That's a good point, actually, because I usually try to grab a Datacron. Like I grabbed Bo's Datacron before I had her because I knew I would have her before it expired. But if this isn't going to work and I'm only going to get like a week's worth of use, is it even worth chasing? Probably
this is probably a whole other section, or maybe you guys go over it. What's the Datacron farming plan? Like what do you do and how far do you bring it? I'll tell you what someone new does. That's me.
Ooh.
Sarah, you want to go first? Or Faye, you want to start with how you do it and how we're 3 people?
I would like some admonishment if this is not the right way to do it. But I realized after the first couple conquests, now we're backing up even farther.
Yeah.
When you start again after, like when I left, there was no like tiers of Grand Arena.
Okay, yeah.
Like you got with someone that was similar GP and that was it. So all the Kyber and the other things after that are all new to me. But I started it again. I was like, I'll join Grand Arena, and then I was in Kyber 4.
Oh wow.
So it was like me with Ray going against anywhere from 4 to 7 Galactic Legends and just like getting total stomped on. So then like the first 2 months, I literally just lost all of them unless they didn't play and got knocked down to what's below that?
Rhodium.
Is it Rhodium?
And below that, keep going.
Chromium.
What's below
Chromium.
That? Okay, cool. I was at least like Chromium 5. I might have gone to the below that.
I don't know what's below that.
Yeah, like does such a thing exist?
Unobtainium.
The real one. Anyway, so that's what they do. If you haven't been in there for a long time, like they'll still put you up against all these other ones in there. But since then, working back up, I'm currently at like 8.5 million GP.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm currently in Kyber 2. So I went back up for those.
Nice.
And the difference between me and like I'm typically going against people with like 11 million GP.
You go.
Okay.
And I'm at 8, and they have all like almost none of them have datacrons, and I don't understand.
You're going against people like me.
I guess
Where every time I'm like, I forgot to set
we're
my
getting
data
pretty close. Like they have all 8,
Mhm.
and I have 3, and I'll still win or get pretty close. Or there's a couple I get totally stomped on, but as a general whole, I've won all 3, or I've won one of them, but it's only because of datacrons.
Yeah.
So I've like in Conquest, I spend the 50 refreshes each day,
Mm-hmm.
and I get the gold crate with 4 to 5 days left, and then I do the rest of the 50 refreshes almost exclusively on the second, whatever those datacron things are called. There's like the 1, the 2, and the 3. The 2 is what I run out of all the time.
Yep. That's a choke point.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I will like try to keep going on the first one and get like 10 to 20 of the actual datacrons themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Roll them to 3 to see light or dark.
Yep.
And then to 6. And then I've done like 5 or 6 of them to the 9. So for example, the purpose of like if I want to get a first order one because the Inquisitor one is totally worthless to me, it's almost, if I have a first order one, but I really want the super long one, I'd prefer to wait until I get that to 9, because then when I re-roll it, it will only be first order ones, and I got a better chance to get there.
Yep.
That's
the way. That's the way to do it. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 100%.
Cool. Are there other things I should? And then I get the currency. That's like what I spend shard stuff
shop
on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like in the Datacron shop, you use the 500 shard shop to get the 1,000,000 in the other one.
Yep.
Yeah. No, you're
too hard in Conquest to get.
You're spot on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing you may want to consider doing differently is I prefer to farm on the bonus node on sector 4.
Yes. Okay. So that's the 2 and the 3 together.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But until I get to sector 4, I'm at a point that I can farm there. That I do it on 2, mainly because I think at a certain point you want to pull the datacron option out of one of the reward pieces, because you need all of the other currency. Like when you're at 10 datacrons that you have to roll up, like at a certain point, if you keep getting more of they're datacrons you're never going to touch. So I would prefer to get up a step and again start getting into the second level currency, remove the datacron from the mix so that I'm getting more things that I can actually use from that side. But absolutely. The one piece that's going to be a little different, I think, with this datacron set is we've got the return of 15% max health and protection for every relic level on allies.
Yeah, thick crons.
Which you're going to want to get a lot of the rank 3 datacrons this time around.
On the guy, I was like,
yeah,
on the stat gain, no, on the first one. And that's like the good one, right?
Yeah.
Any of the other ones?
Yeah, that's the one that you want. Like I would almost suggest for people that, especially like where you're at, especially if you're not seeing that everyone's got a lot of datacrons in that case, you're almost better served with 10 light side and 10 dark side of that level 3 if you can get that many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that's going to help everyone
right away, right?
Right.
And since it's equal dark and light, you just might as well do it.
Give it a couple of rolls. If it doesn't work, you throw it away. Yeah.
How often do you dismantle them?
It depends. Like, so with this set, especially because I'll chase the level 3s a lot, I'll dismantle level 3s that I just can't get to where I want them to be. Just to make space for more datacrons is really what, because at a certain point, the rerolls get so expensive, it's not worth continuing rolls. So like if I get them up to 40 on a level 3, I'll throw it away and I'll go chase down another one for somewhere else.
Do people put at like your level Pico? I mean,
Yep.
like if we're putting money into the game, do we put money into datacrons? Like, will you get? I mean, you're
I
putting crystals for refreshes, but is there like it's actually best to buy this $50 pack?
I will not. But when you look at maybe like where Zareth plays and some of the folks that are in the top 100 in that space, especially in the top, well, what was the top 20? The top 20 is a little weird now because of the matchmaking bug. But the folks that kind of exist in that top 20, top 40, 50 area, they will spend just thousands of crystals on rerolls to get things to where they need to be. And that's part of I've got to draw a line someplace, and that's just not one that I'll do. I like rolling them up to 9s and just finding them, and I think that does well enough at that point. And I still the way the Grand Arena is set up, that you're basically designed to go 50%. You're 1 and 1. You're basically going to go 5 and 4, 4 and 5 over. That's the way that the Grand Arena is set up for people to be successful in that. As long as I go 50%, I don't care enough to be in the top 200 or the top 100. That I don't need to be competitive to that level. I want to win. I want to win half of the time, and that's what I like to do. So there are other folks, and there's a number of folks in chat that are much much better on the PvP side than where I sit. And again, a lot of them are actually spending a ton of money on datacrons on that side. But I just can't. That's a bridge I don't want to cross at this point.
And Sarah, you ignore them?
No, I build them because we need them for territory wars. So I'm like,
yeah.
I gotta do it. And I will use them. I have a tendency to forget to change my defenses. So I tend to forget when datacrons expire, and then I'm like, oh yeah, you need a datacron, so I'll go in and like throw things on occasionally. But I try to get like 5 to 8 level 9s of a set.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Depending on.
How about stopping at 8? Do people do that a lot? Like, I feel like I see that a fair amount.
They do, but I personally don't, because if I'm going to roll something up that high, unless I typically take the next step into 9 because I want to go back and re-roll 6 or 3.
Yeah,
is why I do that.
Well, that was why I did several.
Yeah, because that's the annoying thing, right? Like if you stop at 8, you have to be happy with the 6 and the 3.
Yeah,
and all of your accuracy that you've rolled up until then.
Yep.
So much accuracy.
I rarely look at stats when I roll them up.
Yeah, same.
I just don't find that the stats make enough of a difference. Again, I'm sure they do when you're going up against that top 50, top 100, that the margins matter. But I typically play around 700 to 1,000 in like the rankings at that point.
Is this stuff you see in game? Like what you're saying, all these, or is this like you're going to .gg?
No. So if you go into Grand Arena, and if you check, it's not really obvious. If you go into leaderboards,
go on. We're doing it right now. We're gonna see what I'm.
And if you go into leaderboards and you click my ranking, under Kyber 1, it's going to tell you what your overall ranking is,
which is different from your skill rating. So
it is different from your skill rating.
Your ranking is like a ladder board.
Yeah. So I'm currently sitting at 778, which that I would be in 778th place in Kyber 1.
Cool. I'm at 34,273.
And someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the rankings are per division. So like, if you're
in Kyber 2,
right, like if you're 34,723, that's in your Kyber 2, Kyber 3, whatever bracket.
Yep.
It's not like out of all of the players above you in all of the divisions.
So 700 in Kyber 1, that seems pretty impressive.
It's really not. There are a lot of much better players. I have found that sometimes I fly a little too close to the sun and I get up around 250, 200, 250 in that area. And that's where skill levels get really different. Like if you've ever heard the phrase,
it's not just like all Kyber 1. They try to get like the 250 to 350 range.
Yeah, there's a different set of player that kind of sticks up around that way. If you've ever heard the phrase that it's the craftsman, not the tool.
Yeah.
So I'm the exact opposite. I am the tool, not the craftsman. Like I have the best tools in the world. I don't know how to use any of them. So when I push up against some of those folks, and again, I can't tell you the number of people, they're always great, but they'll reach out like, man, you've got 3 million more GP. What am I supposed to do here? I'm like, you're supposed to play the match because you've got a good chance to win. And then they win, and they're again kind of shocked by that. But I will give all the credit in the world for the folks that understand the level of knowledge you have around kit interaction. Listening to is you look at those datacrons and understand that no, the stats do matter, and they have the patience to re-roll them. That's a level of good that I just don't have I don't have the attention span to do that. So
that's the literal opposite of the Sergi way. He would have spent an hour and a half talking about each individual line on this.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer. Just give me the gist and we'll figure it out. So, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Hey, hold on. But now that made me think of another thing. To determine if the world is still on its axis or not. What do you feel about 3v3, Sarah?
That's my vacation time.
Yeah, okay, all right. So everything is still right.
Yeah. 3v3,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
like, whew, we can take a break. I do my one battle to get the points or whatever, the rewards.
Yep.
And sometimes I win because sometimes people just don't attack, and it's great. So there was one.
That was glad to hear it.
I think it was. I can't remember.
More things change.
I should have taken a screenshot, but I won one of my. I think it was a 3v3. I scored 12 points and they scored 10.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like,
this got 2 of them down.
This counts. Okay. There's no other news. That's it.
That's really it. Yeah.
I mean, that's still a lot of news.
It is a lot of
going
news.
back. I feel like this was a good one that I begged you to be on. Sarah wouldn't let me on for months. I tried. I showed up at her house. Had like Love Actually signs. They kicked me out of Canada.
I'm just glad she didn't try and throw me under the bus.
Calls to come back.
Oh, man. Do we kick people
And this was the episode she said yes on.
So I realize we just spent a lot of time talking about datacrons, but do we want to talk about like that's no moon big topic that Obi Wan's getting a datacron that's exclusive?
Oh yeah.
And like, oh sorry, I meant to say like, do we want to read it because it's on the list?
Oh yeah, it is.
It is.
It is. Do we want to see what this is? What you can whale out for?
And I think the general consensus is meh.
Meh. Is that? Oh, it's a long one. Like,
let's hear it.
All right. I got it.
Go for
so, at the start of the encounter, Padawan Obi Wan gains 100% counter chance until the end of the encounter. Whenever he evades an attack, he recovers 20% health and protection. Whenever he attacks out of turn, he deals true damage to the target enemy, which can't be evaded. Whenever turn meter is removed from an enemy, Padawan Obi Wan gains foresight for 1 turn. At the start of each Galactic Republic ally's turn, if Padawan Obi Wan has a stack of heal over time, he gains 20% offense, and if he has a stack of protection over time, he gains 20% defense penetration for 1 turn. Doubled if there is an active handmaiden decoy. Whenever another Galactic Republic ally falls below 50% health for the first time or is defeated, Padawan Obi-Wan takes a bonus turn, resets all his cooldowns, removes 10% turn meter, and removes an additional 10% turn meter for each relic amplifier level that ally has from. Hang on. What? Periods.
Now you see what Sarah has to go through.
No, this is okay. I'm going to reread this and just know this is one sentence. Okay. Whenever another Galactic Republic ally falls below 50% health for the first time or is defeated, comma, Padawan Obi Wan takes a bonus turn, comma, resets all of his cooldowns, comma, removes 10% turn meter, comma, and removes an additional 10% turn meter for each relic amplifier level that ally has, comma, from all enemies, comma, which can't be resisted.
Sound like you're dictating a text while you're driving.
That is so removes 10% turn meter from is that from the defeated ally from all enemies?
I'm thinking it means the relic amplifier level from the defeated ally.
So you do 10% no matter what, and then you get an additional 10%.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so.
Why wouldn't you just say the first time, whatever, blah, 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 blah. He takes a bonus turn, resets all of his cooldowns, removes 10% turn meter for each relic amplifier level the defeated or whatever that ally has, plus an additional 10% turn meter in general from all enemies, which can't be resisted.
Yeah, I just...
Like, why do you gotta do it weird?
I'm having nightmares of like the sentence diagrams from high school.
I have six commas in that sentence.
Yeah.
Like, it's also kind of weird because I was gonna suggest that they use semicolons, and like they used a semicolon in the paragraph above after 20% offense. So why wouldn't you use a semicolon here?
Because no one knows what a semicolon is.
I totally. That's the right answer.
It's semicolon bridges to.
Like I could use it, but I've never used one in my entire life.
Oh man, I use
like my English teacher would be like, "You don't know how to use it properly," and just smack me on the head. And then we'd go from there. So I've never used one in my entire life for that reason.
Oh.
Like I'm probably more scared of using a semicolon.
If the sentence, if it's a full sentence before the semicolon and a full sentence after the semicolon, it works.
But then you should use something called a period.
Yes,
you can. You can also use it for lists such as this here, where you are listing all of the things that can happen.
You know, that's a great point. Bullet lists are a thing, and they're effective at communicating complex concepts.
Yeah. Like you indent that bullet a little bit. Nice. Those are nice. I think that's a great Datacron, though, because it fits with all of his other. So at the first part of it, you're getting all the best stuff of Dooku.
Yep.
He's got that counter chance, plus he's ignoring all the protection.
Yeah.
So you're just getting right to the health. And he does true damage when he's attacking out of turn. So you're ignoring protection and defense every single time they attack you when you counter them. And then he's recovering 20% health and protection because he's adding foresight when he removes turn meter, which he does on his special and on all of the whenever anyone else gets below 50% health. So there's a lot of stuff in his kit so I think that one would be very good. I don't know that it makes it something that couldn't beat Leia to now can beat Leia.
Right.
But
it's definitely I would be more wary going into fighting that battle, knowing that all of a sudden these counters, I'm like, I got all this protection, but it just keeps chipping away at my health until you're poofed.
Well, and I know the plan is to put him with the new Queen Amidala, but you could make an argument with this again, for people that don't unlock her next cycle. He would be great on a Ami Qui-Gon Jinn team.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to drop low health, but they're not going to die, which is great. So you get to take advantage of all of that big hits that kind of come underneath it, but you also don't have to lose someone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And it's for the first time it happens to each ally.
Yeah. Now, is it worth $150? Probably not.
Right. That's the real question.
And they should add that into the
into the text.
Hey, which by the way, with the new Marquee stuff, that's like 4 years ago, 300 was the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So steal.
It's like 50% off. It's a sale.
Yeah. Hypers.
Buy one, get one. Buy one lover boy, get one lover boy.
This is just a test to see how many people are willing to go buy the $150 Omicron or Datacron.
I think this is if I was them, this is a great idea.
I do too. I think the idea
that would be
good.
If I was anywhere close to that level of spending or whatever, like that would be something that would push me a little more over the edge more than a lot of other things would.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only is it the actual in-game play, it's the exclusive look at me tag.
Yeah.
And you get both things. It's not just the cool kicks. It's the cool kicks actually helping make you jump a little better.
So I have a question for you guys that I just thought of right this second. Clearly, the majority of people who get this Datacron that will spend money and get the Queen Amidala team up and running are probably going to spend the money to get Master Qui-Gon up and running as well.
Yes.
What is the enticing factor that they would do for Qui-Gon because he doesn't have a Datacron? Have you ever seen the movie Taken?
Yes.
He's just beautiful. Yeah, they're not adding another.
Yeah,
I mean, they could. That because they haven't done it before doesn't mean they can't now add another one. But you feel like that would already be data mined or something. So I don't think they're going to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've got to think though that if you're going to go in on Padawan, they don't need to give you anything enticing to go to Master Qui-Gon because you're pot committed at that point.
Right. You're doing a buy one get one.
Yeah, you have made the decision that and honestly, I had this conversation with someone this week that typically does not spend on the marquees and really excited about this character and the animations in particular. And they said if they come in at the new structure, they probably will chase them from that side. And they're like, do you think that they would only do one and not the other? I'm like, no. It's going to be a case of both in that scenario. But I think that they're going to find, especially with this new structure, they're going to find more people that are like that. Like, I'm really excited to do this, and I can find a way to make that fit in my budget more so than 600, 900, 1200, whatever that needs to look like as you start getting more and more characters in that list.
I almost feel like what I would have done personally is just change the active handmaiden decoy to active Master Qui-Gon.
Would be cool.
Because then you're like, here's your Datacron. If you want to use it, you need a full relic team. If you need a full relic team and Qui-Gon's got to be there, you got to spend on Qui-Gon too.
Are you buying a character for 20% defense penetration?
No, I'm just saying, I just would have done that.
Yes, that's I hear you. That I totally agree with that. That's what keep that part of it together.
Yeah.
It makes you want to buy more for it. But I think I would be shocked if this wasn't maybe not every character, but a here to stay idea.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, they're clearly, as of right now, keeping the marquee structure around.
I think it worked.
I think it worked too.
And there's a piece of it that there's a spend aspect. Can we get people to put money into the system, but also can we get people to take crystals out?
Yeah.
The number of people that dropped 20, 30, 40, 50,000 crystals that they had saved on Jar Jar and to get into that. Like I don't know what the number that Calvin had, but I think it was like all the crystals that were ever invented, because I think he had just hoarded them all through that, through the last few years. But those are crystals that are out of the system now that people either now have to replenish, or I think the idea for CG is if you take them out of the system, people need to get them back, and they're maybe more likely to spend $20 to go get a pack of that side from something else. So
True. Yeah.
2,400 crystals it's a lot. And I mean, if you got to do 2 spins to get you over that threshold, where people were even chasing it from the 5-star point, that adds up over time.
What's how many crystals? The 7-star ish?
I don't know so
with the new structure.
With the new structure, I think it's just over 18, I think.
Right.
You need to get to 10 of 100. So 6-star with 10 shards to be able to unlock it, with the rest of it being free crystals. But those last 90 shards really end up adding up to be about $150 is what that comes into, because that's
right. Because you're going down from 300 to 150.
Yep.
Yeah.
So 90 divided by 7 times, we'll do 1,300. So that's 6, just to go from the last 90 shards alone are roughly 16,000 crystals to do that. So that by getting into that point that you're there, you're saving yourself $100. It's a full vault at that point.
Yeah.
Is that still the best way to get crystals? Vaulting it up?
Probably.
If you're doing that stuff.
Yeah, probably. The trick is they're driving people to the web client because they're giving you 5% bonus crystals on top of that.
Yeah.
But you can't use your gift cards previously mentioned there.
No.
You cannot. No, that is one of the drawbacks of that whole system. So, what you can use though are Visa gift cards.
Got it. Yep. That makes sense.
Those work from that side.
Mm.
So,
have you ever gotten one of the 330 pulls?
Once on Mon Mothma back when she was released for the whichever was she. Which Galactic Legend was she tied to?
Jedi Master Luke?
Was it Master Luke?
I think.
And 2 of them. I needed her for 2 things. I think Leia and that.
Yeah, I know she was in Leia.
Yeah, I think it was Luke.
Yeah.
Luke. I have her for that.
Yeah.
So.
And when I got her, it was back before I was doing all the Marquee characters, or at least trying to get a portion of the Marquee characters up. So that one was a big surprise. Now,
how far were you?
I was not far at all. Like it was early enough in that I was probably a couple of spins in. It wasn't very far. And I don't even remember why I was trying to get her up a little bit higher than where she was.
The dope character. That's why. I don't know if she is in the game, but I just enjoyed her. And you can use that if your previously mentioned wife, you're just like, yeah, but I can get these new ones because that one time I got the 330. Think of all the money I saved there.
Exactly, yeah.
You just use that 50 times.
Works. Oh man.
By the way, Faye, you didn't hear us talk about this before. My wife actually gets paid to go on podcasts as a guest.
Yeah.
So you are not going to get that for being here. Okay. Like, she's incredibly intelligent and has amazing opinions and adds to the conversation. And not that you don't, but she is in the paid spokesperson category of life. So yeah.
Hold on. I'm not. I wish there was like a Faye 34 has left the chat.
Robotic voice. Recording has ended.
So yeah, the money going the other way, really.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I forgot. I remember now. I did the math, and by I did the math, I mean I used the calculator on my computer. So if you spend,
And we've already established you're better at it than I am.
if you spend the 2,600 crystals on the 2 gamble packs to get you over the threshold, so that you get the bonus shards in the Marquee, you should end. So I have ended at roughly like 45, 46, 47, depending on like how your gamble packs roll, shards out of 65. So if you lowball it at 45 shards, you're paying 58 crystals per shard, essentially.
Okay.
From the gamble rolls. That, like, you did the gamble rolls, you spent the 2,600 crystals, and then the additional shards that you got, it worked out to be 50. Actually, I guess it's probably cheaper than that when you factor in the shards that you get from your gamble rolls, because I didn't factor that in.
Which is what? It's quite a bit less than the 80 for shipment.
Exactly.
Yes.
Slightly more than the refreshed one would be, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I guess it would depend on if you're doing like a 50 crystal energy refresh plus a 25 crystal node refresh, and you get 1 shard.
And get angry about it, or zero,
or
double,
like I did today.
So many zeros.
So like it works out that it's actually a better deal, I think.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, yay.
Sure.
Do we have a bantha in the room? Are we going to be negative?
I have one.
I have one as well.
And this was a reminder, because now that we're back to live, the words that I write in the show notes sometimes show up on YouTube, so I have to be a little bit more selective of the words that I use.
Yes.
But I'm tired of people being angry for the sake of being angry.
Yeah.
And that's what this Datacron represented this week. And I please, and this may sound like I'm addressing this to some very specific people that I had this conversation about with in Discord. And it is not targeted at those people at all. And I'm not going to share their names because it is not targeted them, because I saw this everywhere. But the number of people talking about this Datacron, and this is a slippery slope and it's a pay to win piece. These are people that were never going to be impacted by this. And when I say that, unless you are someone that has a plan to get this specific character to 7-star Relic 5 in the next 4 months, this doesn't affect you, because the Datacron will be gone before you even get a chance to come into the game.
Right.
And it's a case of like, before the immediate reaction is to just kind of scream into the wind about how something is wrong, take a step back and just say, what's the real impact of this? Now, one of the people that we were talking about was like, yes, I would be in a situation that the way this character is, I may debate soft whaling on that character, and they would be impacted. Yeah, and there are people that will be from that side of it. And understand, I know this is not a cut and dried piece, but there are just so many people that the immediate reaction seems to be to just get angry, because that's what we do as people. Just stop, take a deep breath, think for a couple seconds, just like, what's the real impact of this? And that's just this is not a Star Wars thing. This is not an SWGOH thing. This is not our community thing. This is every online community I've ever been in. And but folks, just a deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
Just pause for 30 seconds before we just decide that this is a slippery slope and the world's going to fall apart, and this is really nothing more than someone trying to rob money out of my pocket. That's it.
Yeah, I think
you can at me at this one, folks. Reach out to me, tell me that I'm wrong. That's fine.
Maybe you missed the part about the 20% defensive penetration.
I think also, like, just to go off of that, if you really break it down, he will go farmable in 8 to 9 weeks. So you're looking at like July 10th, 11th ish, roughly around there, which means at that point we will already no longer be earning the Datacron materials for this set.
Yeah.
Because we will have had Conquest in May and Conquest in June. So you will
Yep.
have to had rolled, like if this was a rollable Datacron, you would have had to roll and prepare his Datacron before he's even farmable. And then depending on where he goes, are you realistically going to be able to get a 3-star character, assuming you don't soft whale in the shipments from, 3 stars or say it's 40 out of 65, 2 7 stars and relict before the Datacron expires in like mid-September.
Yep. Look, I think it's the bigger piece that I would be asking a lot of questions around is the whole Gungan faction. And again, back to that point that there are a number of people that will have 4 of those characters ranked up in the next, we'll say within the cycle of this Datacron being available. But if none of the level 9s are actually valid and you can't do something with an undermanned squad because they don't work when you bring someone else with it, like that's a bigger piece of, we just dumped all this material into the bucket that you now have to wade through, despite the fact that you may not be able to use any of it. Like I think that's a little bit more of a challenge from that side, but yeah.
So now that we know that was your negative about people making a big deal out of things they were never going to have, I would like to make a big deal about something that I would like to have, and that is a damn road ahead CG. I want to know what's going on because we already know everything. Like, you've told us everything already, so give me something new. Because I feel
not only told, like it's actually in game everything that they've told.
Yeah.
Everything other than the new raid, which we like don't have any more info on than what they've given us. Everything's here. So give me a road
Do you want a new raid? What's the general? I mean, I know the general, but what's the U2 speeder bike raid thoughts?
I would like a new raid.
I hit the wall last week that I'm like,
yeah,
I'm over this.
Yeah. I don't even redo my runs now. If I get like a bad art, I'm like, that's fine. I just post it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's what I joined in the crate raid.
Right.
I hated it. I thought it was.
I hated the crate raid with a passion.
Maybe that was. I thought the bike one was way better.
I did think the bike one was
also
better.
Very nice that it's minimal effort sometimes. I'm doing like 4 million damage. So I'm sure you guys are doing 4 or like 2.9 million with one. I'm doing 4 total, but it's just like it was so much easier and less time consuming. And if I put a little effort in there, I can get some more into it. So whereas the crate rate one was a little more time intensive.
Yeah. And it was
everyone died.
It was too often.
And they cut it. Yes, they cutting it in half made a big difference.
Yeah. Although I still get tagged every raid. And every time I get tagged, I'm like, already? Really? We just did it.
Sunday rolled around and I was like, oh man, the raid's back to like it used to be like Sunday rolled around and like the raid's tomorrow. I would be excited, and now it's just like, no, I don't want it. And then I'm starting to look at my calendar. I'm like, oh, I might not be able to get this to Wednesday, which then means, Sunday comes just that much faster. So it was fun. It's not bad to do. It's just the same thing too frequently.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. You know what they should bring back? Raid simming.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And bring back road aheads.
I mean, what's going to be in it?
Well, we have to know if we're going to get a new capital ship or not, if they're going to skip that. Or if it's just going to be like meta ship. Something has to happen in fleets because Leviathan is so boring that I don't even care about getting him to 7 stars. You're not missing out on anything, Faye. We need to know if we're getting a new Galactic Legend in the fall, and then like where are we headed? We need to know the exact character list for the new raid, when the new raid is dropping, even though we can kind of guess it's going to be August. And like,
is that still a thing? That was always like a wait till August, or did we give that up?
oh, it's still a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the summer, but like then what's the fall stuff leading us to for so we can start guessing on who the December character is going to be? There's so much, like everything that they said last time. We already know all the info now.
I don't care when we get a road ahead, as long as the road ahead says the next Conquest character is a ship.
Yes. Agreed.
Because I need to not put all of my resources back into another character right now.
Maybe the next Conquest character will be Red 5.
Possibly, because as we're going to see in a minute, I don't have a lot of resources left.
Okay, follow my train of thought here. If we get Red 5 as a Conquest unit, that would be an unlock in August when roughly the fleet meta likes to change.
And didn't Meathead say there was a band called August that had a song called Red 5 or something like that?
August Burns Red is a band.
That's what it was. Yes.
I only know that because my husband has their t-shirt.
I'm old and I don't know what that is.
How do we feel about them? Yeah, I'm not aware of them.
I don't listen to them.
3 or 4 of their songs and go.
Couldn't if I tried.
You took that very seriously. You're like, I can't.
No, what?
I can't. Do you have a negative, Faye?
No, like this is I say this in a, how do you, I don't know, second marriage honeymoon type of thing. That,
are you rebounding?
I previously been in the game where I was just like, oh, I felt like it was a chore. And now when I pick it up, I'm not as like, I need to do these things as I used to be, which I think not having the arena payout helps, at least for a squad.
Yeah.
So that, and then I'm also not, I used to be full on, like I would have been trying to get as high as I can. Like I wanted to show how good I was at the game.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now I'm totally fine being whatever I told you I was, 37,000.
Oh,
and feel pretty good about it. Like that's that type of thing that I just don't. It's okay if I'm not very good at it, and partly because I just don't have a lot of the teams. But those are that's not true. I mean, Kyrotech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I hear you guys are like at some of the, like the Zepho and the Mandalore one, I hear that's less and less of a thing in the super high end guilds that is by far it's not even remotely close to the bottleneck of anything else. Like I get the relic stuff all built up by the time I have the Kyrotech ready.
Right.
It's interesting. This was actually a topic on Discord today. And again, it very much is a point in time of where you sit in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're at, Kyro doesn't matter. And Kyro doesn't matter for 2 pieces. One, most of us have played long enough and we have the resources in the game that we have our rosters past the points that Kyros matter. So they just pile up. Like it's a case, it's like the droid, the old level 9 droid colors, or that you needed to get from 8 to 9. Once your roster gets to a certain point, you have so many of them, they don't matter anymore. It's the same thing on the Kyro side. We're also getting enough salvage that passively picking them up through other events go away. Understand there are people that still it absolutely matters. I want to get Lord Vader someday, so I have to come up with 8 billion Kyros to get Bad Batch up. That's still there. It does go away after a period of time though.
Yeah. And like getting to Zepho and Mandalore. Even honestly, even just Zepho was a big help on the Cairo coming in.
But you just get like 20 every month, right? How does that?
You're doing it twice a month because you're getting it
twice a month. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. You're getting
but like it just adds
40
up.
of each. Okay. That's what it is, right? You get 40 of each essentially if you're doing it every month.
I think
20 of each.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again,
our guild isn't there yet. That's also another thing of just like joining back in and seeing like, how good do we do? And I joined my son for a long time of, like whatever guild would take his 200,000 GP.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to get some droid cowlers, so I kicked him to the side. Sorry, son. So that's only slightly true.
Maybe you should go get a job cutting grass, and then you can go buy some of those light speed bundles and come along with me.
Oh no, that's what so for Christmas he asked for from his uncles and stuff. He wanted Google Play gift cards for saved.
I asked for that for Christmas too.
Didn't spend it on dumb stuff. He finally spent it on the ones that just came out. So he used up the rest of his on the light speed bundles, which are, again, I don't know if you guys needed it at all.
I buy them.
But I would not have spent any money other than I got many of the light speed bundles. They were almost perfect for.
Oh no.
Unlike the Conquest, which I think is silly for getting the Proving Ground stuff, the light speed bundles were legitimately I felt like I was making big ground and years of training on the other hand, did I also spend $120 on a game over the last 6 months compared to buying 2 other, full games?
Yeah.
But in the overall scape of this game, it's this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Light speed bundles are great.
They are.
Yeah. And I think we still see quite a people at least in our guild or kind of where we're playing that are buying them because it's when do I have time to bring my Night Sisters or my Geos up into relics just so I can do a little bit more with them from that side. There's some value. I think someone was kind of running the numbers down in guild chat this week, and to take one character from relic 0 up to relic whatever the geos came at, it was going to cost more to get one character up to just kind of buy those with crystals than it was to buy the pack, and the pack got you everybody up to that same level. So it's they're phenomenal value on that side.
I feel
Night Sisters, the Separatists.
Yeah, there was a General Skywalker
the Ewok one I needed because for Leia instead of getting all the Cairo on the last 2 of those.
Yeah.
And what you'll notice too is it also saves you a little bit of the bronzium and the carbonite circuit boards.
Yeah.
And that is such a crunch too. I feel like I'm gonna skip ahead. My I Love You I Know was the light speed bundles. I bought the Night Sister one because I have not finished them. I was gifted the Geo one, and I was already toying with, maybe buying the Geo one as well. So I was like, this is fantastic. Now they're all done.
Done? That's the next question. Now, do you feel slightly, now that you went into or you go into event like I did the Secret and Shadow one, tier 2, where it's I feel like I can maybe do that.
Yeah.
And then Sidious hit me. No, that's not happening.
I did.
So now it's maybe I should do a little bit on DACA for. And my Marin is only at 11, but I don't have the Cairo to get her to that. So I do that's those are the things now I have to decide on what I want to do next.
I did do Secrets and Shadows. I did the tier, not the last one, the one before the last one. But I did use Marin. So I don't know. Marin? I took her to Relic 3.
Okay, all right. So I feel like that's the thing that I need to. She's only at 11.
So it wasn't.
And I think RNG I might get there, but I'm not going to spend more time than.
So I will say I did it. I did Talzin lead. So I did Talzin, Daka, Saj, Marin, Zombie. And I hit auto on that second highest tier, and it was 3-starred.
Nice.
And my mods are probably very bad.
Marin's a great character.
Yeah.
She is making that team go, and they're actually doing some really interesting things now. She would be a character I would not hesitate to tell anyone to just bump it up a little bit and just kind of add her into that team, and just kind of opens up a lot of doors in GAC.
Yeah.
What does bump it up a little bit mean to you?
Again, I would say into the case that you could actually use some datacrons with her, like up to the level 6 datacron. So
that makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And when I got a couple that are like relic 1 or 2, like separatist droids, and they have the separatist datacrons, and it's like, well, you can actually do that one.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't want to spend those bronziums on them. No, you must. Well, or you could buy the. Now I can do it because I spent $25 on the Padme bundle.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And again, that adds up, and now all of a sudden you have more tools that are available to you.
Mm-hmm.
As again, if where you're sitting in K2 at 8 million GP is really impressive that you're pushing that far into it from that side. And again, that just gave you a whole bunch more tools to go.
Yeah, I actually, unlike Sarah, I reset all those, and it felt kind of fun to be like my whole back row, the bottom back
Shade.
is just it's Ewoks. I know they're gonna get like they can just get walkered or whatever, but it's better than the Karth I was using there.
Yeah.
It's the Geos and it's the Night Sisters. Like literally all 3 of those that I was just like, those will all be good. I have datacrons for all of them that work kind of nicely, and I wouldn't want to see that as a back row compared to my front row. Now, that being said, other people have 8 Galactic Legends and I have 3. Like, that doesn't help all that much. So I just kind of hope they don't play sometimes, like Sarah. But.
I had a player that I just faced. I think they had 8 million GP. Might have been lower than that, actually. Might have been like 6 or 7. It was a big difference. And I legitimately felt so bad that I was like, I'm going to do 1 attack. And I'm going to, if they want to take it, I'll let them. Because I felt so guilty. I was just like, I'm that asshole right now.
Sarah, I want to be that I want to be you and then crush you. That's what I want.
I will say they did do, like, I think they cleared like 2 zones. And I was like, this is fine. It was also like a weekend one, and I never really pay attention on the weekend, so.
What are you in? Are you?
I'm towards the bottom of Kyber 2.
Yeah.
Like I'm probably gonna fall into Kyber 3 soon if I don't get my act together.
Like during your vacation next week?
Yeah.
Or next month?
Next month I will probably I'll be in Kyber 3. I always go to Kyber 3 during 3v3 and then I like crawl my way back up and it's fine. Pico, what have you loved?
Well, let's show everybody. So, like CG, we are offering an exclusive view into the world of Pico Burrito on the live web stream. So to actually see what this looks like, you're going to have to go to YouTube. If you're listening to this on your podcast right now, you're going to have to go into YouTube. But I dumped, if you could, Sarah, if you can flip over to the notes so people can see this, I dumped all of my Omicron resources this week.
Where are the notes?
So in our show notes,
yes,
down under I love you, I know, I put a couple of screenshots there for our friends that are on the live broadcast. I dropped 5 Omicrons in a row on the Night Sisters. I now have all of the Omicrons on all of the Night Sisters, including all 5 of the Territory War leader.
Wait, not Night Sisters, on the Inquisitors.
I'm sorry, the Inquisitors, excuse me. Yes, sorry, the Inquisitors.
That's more ridiculous.
Yes, I know, that's why it's ridiculous.
I wanted to make sure you were getting the full ridiculous.
Yeah. As we're talking about Night Sisters, and it's late and my brain is slipping. But yeah, I sometimes you just have to decide that it's something that you're going to do because it's something you want to do, and you turn around and do it. And I have been wanting to do this for a long time.
I have so many to save up.
I had much
respect.
I have maybe crippled my ability to put them on Queen Amidala when she comes out in 2 weeks, but I've been wanting to do it for a long time. What was crazy is, and as someone in his chat said, that our Discord chat was interesting. Actually, the in-game chat was interesting today because there were some folks that maybe had thought that I was compromised, and we'll leave it at that, and we won't go into some of the names, but
the officer chat, people were concerned.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm pretty confident in saying that this was not accidental, and this was not a case of his child getting the phone or anything like that. So
I mean, if your kid did that, that would be like that'd be like mad respect. You know what I mean? That's like one of the to go back to your Anchorman in the back there behind you, Sarah. Your dog eats the whole cheese wheel. I'm not even mad.
My dog would eat the whole cheese wheel.
Yeah. So I mean, if my kid was to go in and like, what specifically thing could I do to make it look hilarious? Putting all the leaders on to the. Because this is only like, I only know this is a thing because I like saw it on Reddit of someone else was like, maybe I should tell this person.
Yeah.
And then show me like, oh, you literally can't use all of these.
Mm-hmm.
And you might only even be able to use one of them ever.
Well,
honestly, are you going to rotate through them? Like, are you going to ever? Will there be one that you never, ever, ever use, or there will be 4 that you never use?
I will be honest. I don't know what any of them do.
Yeah.
I started to read them today when I was waiting for my son to finish up his soccer practice, and I got bored. There were too many words on the page. So if I ever use them, trust me, everyone in the world is going to hear about it. But what I loved about it is I got it all lined up, and I added all of them. So there's this block in Discord about, Pico applied an Omicron to Can't Stop the Empire and Guess Again and More Than Enough, and I sense those as Seek, and they will never be victorious. And then I didn't say another word about it. And it was like 2 hours later when like the first message came in, and like someone messaged me on Discord about it. And then all of a sudden people are just, that was in someone like, Pico, is everything all right? I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was just playing dumb, and then like not responding for another 45 minutes to the whole thing. So
I like it.
Yeah.
I was trying to like, I think we can get a good, like, I sense those we seek can't stop the Empire. They will never be victorious. Guess again. They're more than enough. Yeah. That's all of them right there. They make one cohesive story of the rebels fighting back and not being believed that they could win.
And the other fun piece about it was actually someone in Discord legitimately thought that I had access to inside information and that there was a change coming into the game today. And I did this because I knew that like something was coming in that was going to allow all of them to act at the same time, but they didn't. So that made me happy this week. I enjoyed that.
What's made you happy, Faye? This is making me laugh.
Yeah, no, that's great. I don't have anything quite that top notch for it. Just normally these were the things that I like doing the most because they're always just so the negative in the game, and it's the type of stuff that is just like makes you want to play even if it's stupid or you're getting all those things. So just like putting, how long Night Sisters have been in the game?
Oh gosh, forever.
And, like to get all those to be like, look at that Night Sister acolyte all in her red glory. I'm not going to use you, but it's been a long journey, including years of no use for any of you. And to have that be all the way up there is pretty good. But the being in the, like having the Darth Bane now as an option on offense totally changes what I can do on, because I literally couldn't beat Kenobi most of the time. Like I just didn't have an option to do that. Or I can beat Leia with Ren, but like Kenobi and Lord Vader were pretty dicey a lot of times, depending on Datacron. So having that as like a get out of jail card so far has been kind of fun. We'll see when that Datacron goes away. But being able to punch above a little bit.
Sounds like you are.
Yeah.
That's
So probably more than a bit, but yeah. That's
I don't want us to match in GAC because I feel like I will have to try.
no, you would. Yes, you would.
Unless it's 3v3.
And... Yeah, that's true. Then that would be the one time you would be like, oh, this is the best thing I've ever played. You just needed an 8 really defeat to get it down from there. No, so it's again, that's right now. The game is a fun diversion. And by the way, if you're like, what did I do when I didn't have the time that I was playing the game?
Yeah.
It's not like I learned Mandarin or I was like doing other, like I was basically then spending more time on
Candy Crush,
like political news or like other garbage that's way worse in this game. You know what I mean? Like it was just like and I used to be at some times like when I was really into this game and you couldn't change the time thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You know, trying to get arena payout when family's about to eat and it's like, hey, I gotta go. You know, like I'm making pasta at the same time that I'm trying to play. Like it just, that wasn't a cool thing to be doing.
Yeah.
Both for myself. But now I don't. Now that you can change some of those things and it doesn't, when I play it, it's not I feel like I have to. It's this is a cool, like if it's this or reading another article online that I don't need to read. At least for me. I mean, other people could do whatever, and right now there aren't any like great other video games that I would be playing. I'm not going to exercise anyway, so.
Darth Vader's doing it all for you.
It's not like I had 4 years to be like, all right, instead of doing that, you're going to do this. If anything, it was worse than the game of that. So
you're really selling the quitting the game life. Okay. Do we want to do Discord Corner?
Yeah, we can do Discord. There aren't a whole lot there.
No, there's not.
That's you admonishing the people.
You know what? They do great questions. I think this is actually more on us. I think that if we gave people more than an hour to do this, but there's also the problem if you give them too much time for questions, then you've got to spend hours answering all of them. So you've got to be real careful when you're going to actually do Discord questions.
I would do that for the listeners, but it seems like the new regime doesn't. But that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, Lamplighter, very important question. Mentalist versus Monk versus Psych. Which was the best cable news detective series?
Great question. I immediately want to answer these things. A clear last place is The Mentalist.
Okay.
Not as fun. And, the CBS versus USA just kind of, that was their thing. So, between the two, though, I'm a little more Psych. Psych's number one. Monk is also great. Psych, Monk, Mentalist. Definitive answer.
Final answer locked in.
Good.
Do you have a ranking, Pico?
So no, because I've never seen any of those shows.
I've also never seen any of those shows.
Oh, okay.
Now,
so Faye's word is law.
That was really like, wow, I haven't seen this, and having that be the question, what came out of nowhere, but is right in my wheelhouse. I mean, Gus and Sean from Psych, and I mean, we can go into their times in Santa Barbara and Monk, the OCD detective. I mean, just all sorts of fun. Mentalist is definitely the one I spent the least amount of time on, but was the most popular of those ones. Again, network versus cable TV.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Might not even know the difference. And who knows what, the USA network is called in Canada. Like, they probably don't even have that there.
I don't think we have that.
I said that jokingly, but is that USA?
When you said CBS versus USA, I thought you meant like CBS likes to make shows that go against like their characters or like, and I was like, what? Yeah. This is the thing?
No, CBS
USA was a great channel.
No, that's NBC, but
I'm trying to think of like we get CBS, we get NBC, ABC.
USA was like where Suits and Monk and Psych and all of those were originally played.
They air here. They just air on CTV, which is Canadian television.
Canada TV, which is USA Network. It's basically the same thing. It's just not USA.
Yeah. Anyway.
But by the way, because I haven't seen those shows, I am going to actually weigh in on them anyway, because this is what I do. I don't know anything about something. So here's the deal. Here's how I break them down. If I remember correctly, The Mentalist stars the handsome blonde man. Correct?
It does.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So here's how I'm going to rank them. Tony Shalhoub.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Knock off JD and Turk from Scrubs.
Yes.
And then handsome blonde man. That's how I'm going to rank them. Because that's how I always viewed those shows.
That's pretty accurate.
That's a good. It's a good ranking system. Okay. Next question.
Sure.
From Fulcrum. So the new online store user interface, that there's a new Marquee format that started with the Gungans, and now we're continuing into Boy Toy. New exclusive.
I think that's a new name, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
Boy Toy number 1.
We knew who you meant. Yeah, great.
The new exclusive datacron that goes with the Boy Toy number 1 Marquee. CG seems to be really experimenting and innovating. Whether users love it or hate it, I take it as a positive sign for the company, the game, and Swugga in general. But are users too stuck in their ways for it to work? What do you think results will have to be to appease the keyboard warriors who flame CG at the smallest change in what they know, and how best can gamers adapt? It's a well thought out question, I have to say.
So I'm going to take a swing at this.
Okay.
There's a really bad Disney movie by the name of Yes Day.
I haven't seen that one.
And the whole premise of it, I think it stars Jennifer Garner, if I remember.
Sure does.
Okay. All right. So the whole premise of it is she is a person that defaults to no as the answer. You can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. And the whole thing is
to her children. Yeah.
To her children. And on this day, she has to say yes to everything that they put in front of her. And it gets back to this. It's Disney sappy stuff, and I typically love those things.
It ends with waterboarding.
Yeah. But
like the torture or
yeah.
Yeah.
You'll see.
You're getting ready to enter into this world of Disney tween shows and movies. And again, you may say Jasper's a little early from it, but eventually you're going to want to put him in front of the TV and something that you can watch as well. And that's how you get hooked on Wizards of Waverly Place as like a 42-year-old man. Like that's how these things happen.
You mean I don't have to sing Baby Shark all day long?
No, you do not. But this is back to what I was saying earlier, is that just don't default to no.
Mm-hmm.
Just default to, I'm gonna wait. Don't even say yes. Don't even say this is gonna be great. I'm just gonna wait until I have a data point of what's in front of us to figure out how it works. And again, there's this immediate view, and there's a whole socio-political aspect behind it that, again, I'm not going to get into here because this is a recording and I don't need anyone to play this back to me when we found out how wrong I am from this standpoint. But there is this whole aspect of people just generally being angry by a bunch of things in life. And it's easier to be angry at nebulous things like CG when we forget that CG is made up of people. And we want to forget the fact that there's this guy Meathead that has gone out of his way to provide a bunch of feedback, and then they've taken that feedback and then actually implemented it into things that may not necessarily be exactly what we wanted, but they're making an attempt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's back to, we're talking about like this new UI for the web store, and Molpokey, who's a phenomenal friend of the show and is in Discord, he was given an opportunity to provide some feedback to a focus group around what that UI was going to be. CG went outside and hired a focus group to create a better experience. They spent money on something to make a better experience for players. There's a disconnect between this idea that they're out to screw players and they're terrible and everything they're doing is bad in the game when they're going out and spending money to actually. Now, you want to argue that they did it because they want to extract more money out of our wallets? Yes, two things can be true at the same time. But I think the challenge is it's challenging gamers in general to just stop thinking everything. There we go. There's the one bleep of the show. And I think I cut this up oftentimes that everything sucks just by nature is because it's different. All right. Mm-hmm. You need to change your underwear every day. It's okay to change your opinion. It's okay to face.
Wait, hold on. Every day?
Well, just don't wear underwear. Yeah. Then you don't have to change it every day. I
was expecting you to say like flip it inside out or something.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree, and those are all positive things to me. That it means the game is still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like there have been definite times throughout when we were doing it, I was like, this feels like the death knell of this game if they're just not going to do all this stuff. And for them to make a change, especially to the UI, to the web store, and just like you said, both things can be true. For it to be nicer can also mean that they make more money, but it also means that it's going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
Which is, in my opinion, a good thing. Because guess what? You can stop if you want. But if you want to keep playing, either. So that's what all those things mentioned there are kind of one, the new Marquee format was only positive.
Yeah.
Like there's no, am I wrong? And there's no negatives to it. Like they just gave you more stuff than they were previously.
Right. And you don't have to do it.
Well,
correct.
Yeah. But to Fulcrum's point, there is a portion of the community that will say that they only did that to take more money out of the wallet of the players.
Right.
Sure. I mean, that's what at least a good portion of their company should be doing.
Yes. I've argued forever, if you work for a company that's not trying to extract the most amount of money from their customer base, you need to go find a new company.
Yep.
Now, that being said, if I was going to make this is a semi-tangent here. If I was going to make a documentary, I think a documentary about mobile gaming in general, but if you were to make like a really good interview 5 to 10 players of this, I think it would blow the flipping minds off of the general public.
Yeah,
how much money some people have spent on this game, and I think you could do good and bad. I promise you, some people's lives have been ruined by this game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That being said, they would have been probably for another type of addiction, and I'm not saying it's just this game. But I think that would be a fascinating, even if you had no connection to Star Wars or mobile gaming, to be like, I'm sorry, they spent what on that?
Yeah.
And then we can all counterpoint and be like, how much I played this game was literally the cheapest entertainment I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
On the hours that I have put into this, how much money I put into it, which is several $100s over 8 years, it is pennies per hour, maybe. And like to go golfing twice would be your entire year's worth of whaling out on golfing, whatever you want to call that. You guys use soft whale? What's this new jargon? What is that?
Soft
what's
whale?
A SARA? What's a soft, medium, hard whale? I mean,
soft whale is when you wait for the Marquee to go to shipments, and then you buy them out of there with the crystals.
Yeah. How is that? Where does a dolphin fit in this now?
So one, I am anti-animal analogies.
Yes.
I have made my opinion of this very clear because, as I have pointed out to people, it's kind of BS that people are allowed to call me a whale and use that the way that I talk to talk about me in that context, because it's typically done in a negative fashion.
Yeah.
But if I call them the pores, I'm a jerk. So here's the answer, I think, where the community, whether they realize it or not, the difference between a dolphin and a whale is a whale is anyone who spends more than me, and a dolphin is who I am. That's the easiest way to look at it. And a kraken is someone who spends more than the person that spends more than me. Like that's always the view of it.
Okay. So how about the soft and medium kraken?
Soft and
there is no such thing as a
soft
kraken.
Okay. Yeah.
You're either all kraken or no kraken.
Yeah. If you're if you're 15 plus million GP, you don't wait.
Yeah.
And again, good for those people, because they clearly are doing something in life that allows them to afford to do that. Man, bravo to them. That is
Robin Banks.
You know what? It takes skill to not get caught.
That's a very good point.
I mean, I've watched all the Ocean's 11s. I mean, that is a skill set to pull off those types of heists.
Those are great movies.
What a great movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. I think all of this is good. I think it's all positive, and myself included, I know we have a tendency to like jump the gun and get mad when we see things that we don't like. But the majority of the time, I think after the changes have been rolled out, and like whether it's a change or a new game mode or a new datacron or like whatever is coming in that we've gotten like pitchforked over, it is almost never as bad as we've thought it would be, if it is bad at all.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like when we look back at it afterwards, we're like, actually, this is okay. This is fine.
What over the last 4 years has been pitchfork worthy in retrospect? Or do we just get used to everything? Or were there any like mid ideas that were just like,
I know when the datacrons leaked, that was like the thing for pitchforking.
Yeah.
Like it shut down the beta program as a whole. It was a whole thing.
Oh, like they had another beta one? Didn't they learn from before?
They had another one, and they leaked the datacrons to the community, and the community got pissed, and then CG shut down the program because they were like, "This is why you sign NDAs."
The leaker put it out there because they thought by doing so, the community was going to be able to force CG to prevent that from happening. And they didn't quite realize that no, you're part of the beta program because we need you to validate the code, not the concept.
Right.
Like, and the concept shipping.
Yeah. And it came out pretty quick after the leak happened.
Yeah. I think the one pitchfork that I think that at the time was justified was all the changes to the characters that got kind of nerfed so that they couldn't do off-meta counters, because I don't think that anyone could have expected directionally what CG wanted to do with the game to make that work. Like it's back to defense as a stat doesn't work if we keep putting 100% defense or ignore defense in kits. So they had to fix all of those characters so they could get it to this point, and that frankly all of that mapped back into needed to be done so that we could get to datacrons, so that datacrons could ultimately keep things like PvP modes fresh. And it took a long time, I think, for the result of that coming out to see. And I think it was fair at that point because, again, it was people that dumped a lot of resources into a lot of characters that got bad. Again, hindsight being 2020, I think it makes a ton of sense why they did that. I'm glad that they did it. I think that we have stats in the game that now mean something that didn't, 3 or 4 years ago or however long that was. But 9 times out of 10, I just don't think it's worth the pitchforks.
Yeah. The other thing that they did was they dialed up the conquest difficulty after the first couple runs of it. So the first Razor Crest and Cat were relatively easy, like unbelievably easy. Like you didn't even really need to refresh.
Yeah.
And then they dialed up the difficulty from there, and that also pissed a lot of people off. And while now I think we've all gotten used to it and it's okay, I think it was poorly handled because they released it, and this, like, it got released and then they increased it instead of, like, they should have made it more difficult at the very start and then tweaked it backwards instead. So that was a bad one. But I think, yeah, we mostly just have gotten used to it all. So.
And I don't think it's a case of Stockholm syndrome. I think that they're generally good changes.
Or the frog boiling in the water over time type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So there's two more. Steve's fantasy ad. Should I relic stop or unlock Jedi Knight Cal Kestis? I only have enough Kyrotech to do one. I've already rolled a stop on Datacron, but I'm not sure how good he will be long term. I would go for Jedi Cal personally.
Yes.
I don't.
Are we saying stop? It really looks like an A to me.
Stop.
It's stop.
Stop.
Wait, from like you guys just say this for fun, or people don't know how to read? How is that? Why is that not stop?
So yes, it's spelled stop, and it's like it's an acronym, and I forget what it took me forever to figure out what that is.
Single turret aerial platform.
Yeah,
I think.
Okay,
but it was designed to read the way the B1 battle droids would yell stop in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
At least that's always been my interpretation.
That's my interpretation of it as well. And I also interpret that you can ignore him and go for Jedi Cal. Well, maybe not ignore, because we probably will need him for the new raid.
Yes.
But Jedi Cal is just so good.
And if you can encourage the rest of your guild to unlock him and get him up for Zepho, he actually will generate Kyros on the backside.
Yeah. And that's, where you're talking about only having enough Kyro to do one.
Yep.
So, okay, Molpoki. Sure, Sarah says that's what she said, but where's the proof? Did she really say all those things? Pico needs to confront her on this.
Why do we have this weird running theme on the show where he just tries to get us to argue on the show?
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to argue. She definitely said what she said, though.
I'm pretty sure I heard her say that what she said. Yeah. What she said. That's what she said.
Yeah. I wasn't there, but she said that.
Okay. But also, where would you use Pow, new Obi, in the game before Queen Amidala arrives? Yes, I know that's just 1 week of 3v3, but still. I like your idea, Pico. I like your idea of maybe doing Qui-Gon with him.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think that works.
I think you have to stick him there, or like, I don't know.
He's a super hard hitting Jedi, and we've got that. He's got foresight, a bunch of foresight options in his kit, and we've got those datacrons that. Don't we have a datacron that gives them more damage if they have foresight, or am I thinking about an old kit?
I am not the correct person to ask.
I think I'm thinking about an older kit, or an older datacron. Or maybe that's Keller and Beck. Beck would be another place you could possibly get away with him as well.
Mm-hmm. I feel like.
But who are you putting in with? So if it's 3v3, you're putting them with old Qui-Gon.
Yep.
and Jedi Anakin.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
And just have two that just absolutely just whack people
Because then you'd have
under various circumstances.
you'd have Anakin and Obi Wan. Wow, I blanked on his name. Both taking bonus turns.
So can we just call that team the Braid Brothers?
But he won't take the bonus turns only for Master Qui-Gon. I thought that same thing, and I went back to look at it.
Oh, is it?
You could take 2 bonus turns right away when he gets below 50 or blah, blah, blah.
I thought it was for any ally. Or was that his...
That's the Datacron.
That's the Datacron. Yeah.
That's where we're getting at.
Ah.
Yeah, so if you have the Datacron, then yeah, that's a great idea. Because then you can barely survive the first Jedi Knight hit, and then you gotta get his hit again.
Yeah.
And you lost all the turn meter, so it's gonna go right back to
turn
be a good way to take some banners, even if they didn't win.
Yeah. I honestly don't know where else I would put him.
I'm sure it works well with like a Padme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Or do some kind of weird
having
shock
regular Ahsoka, something like
Galactic Republic Jedi thing.
Yeah.
Kit Fisto.
Clone Wars Chewie, Kit Fisto, and Pada Obi.
Okay, that's the last viewer question. I don't think the fleet meta changed because there has not been a Leviathan event since we last recorded.
I think we have, I'm looking at it really quick. It has not, and I think we have officially hit the critical mass for the new fleet at this point, 9 months into we're probably 10 months into the meta in this case.
Yep. I think I need 50 or 60 blueprints still. Something like that. It was great. We got to we got to Mandalore this last territory battle, and the note, because we like to put in like, oh, this team works great on this node and like etc. And the note on the fleet node in Mandalore is Leviathan works here, and I was like, that's nice, guys. What about me? I can't use that. I can tell you that Executor did not work and Profundity did not work. So that was.
You just need to spend those crystals because we need that 200,000 points.
No.
She said what she said.
Yeah, yes. That's what she said.
That's what she said. She said.
That's that. I appreciate the segment still going strong, but the rank and file doesn't have as much impact as it used to with
no. We only really look at fleet.
Yeah, which makes sense. Why would anyone care about the other one for it? So on the same thing, you need to come up with a different. You need to look at specific Grand Arena counters. You need to spend at least 7 to 8 hours every week coming up with a new.
So one of the big differences between when you were on the show with Sir G and when I came in is that no one comes here at all anymore for help on PvP. Like we are just not anyone that people are coming to for that advice there.
Excellent.
I will still occasionally get DMs for like PvP questions. And the answer is the same, is me going, let me check on that. And then I just go and DM somebody else. And I'm like, help me with this question. Yeah. So probably should stop doing that. But yeah. And then the questions would stop.
That's good. I have the my main thing in the last whatever it was 4 months was getting Profundity.
I love Profundity.
And I got it to 7-star the last. So that's where I spent basically all my crystals because it made a huge. Now I can.
Yeah.
first place every time with the profundity with the I don't even know what the ship is called, but it's not Sith Assassin. Sith Marauder ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's your reinforcement you call in. It's basically 100%. And at 6-star, it's like 95% over Leviathans, all Leviathans. It was just someone had it on Reddit one time. And it's like, so it's me and 50 Leviathans in the top whatever of
your fleet
arena. And I don't need a Leviathan for anything for that. I go down maybe a little bit farther, but I still stay in like the top 20s because I'm an old shard, but it's great.
So that's I guess I didn't realize that was an actual thing, because one of the people that that sometimes I have to climb into runs Profundity, and that whenever that ship comes out, whenever that swarm ship comes out, I'm just like, do they not know that this doesn't go together? I didn't realize it was an actual.
No, I'm sure you could absolutely auto it on off. And it's a very specific, like, here's what you need to do at each step.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it works every time.
Got it. Okay.
And it's just quite cool to do that. And I think some of the your Leviathan mirror matches can be annoying.
Yeah.
Even if I had a Leviathan, I would use this because it's essentially since it's been 7-star of the last 8 days.
See,
I haven't come close to losing.
Don't need to spend the crystals.
Right. So that would be if I would. It's certainly the better one, but it's super nice.
Yeah.
So shout out to whoever said that or did that, and it's a weird combination. I can't believe they thought of it. That's really cool. I wish I had a thing like that, but I do it, and it works out very nicely, and I recommend that.
If it helps in my GAC fight today, I absolutely got crushed with the Resistance fleet against General Grievous, and then I realized it was because I brought in the Thrawn capital ship and not Holdo. That's gonna cause me to lose. So
to be fair, purple hair, blue skin, interchangeable, really.
Right. That's the worst feeling, going in with the wrong capital ship.
Well, and I didn't know that I did it until the next fight. I'm like, well, I'll just bring in Thrawn with Empire. And I'm like, where's Thrawn? I'm like, oh, that's why that went so bad.
That's why it didn't work.
You lost before you even took a turn. Is that
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so last but not least, we can head to Uncle Owen's Moisture Farm to talk about who and what we're currently farming in game. I'm excited to hear about this, by the way. This is gonna be great. Pico, Faye, what are you guys farming?
Faye, you want to
go? So that's the big question. Right now I'm going for Leia, and I just need. Let me backtrack a little bit. So I started the game like right when Leia was coming in the game.
Okay.
And so in my head, I was just like, back in the day, really the only thing you needed was the one meta team.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was if you had that, then everything else would be fine. So I was just ignoring everything else and going straight to the
new
Leia. Yes. And then the Lightspeed bundles came out.
Oh, yeah.
And then I ended up going for I just had a regular Rey or whatever. I like Legend Rey, and then I ended up getting Kylo, and then I was like, well, now I'm actually kind of close to getting Jedi Knight Luke. So then I did that, and then I'm kind of close to getting old Luke. And then I needed the ship. So now I'm finally back to the Leia.
So you got derailed a little.
Yeah, so only... but I bet those were all, in retrospect, they were all good decisions, because those are I got a lot more teams for Grand Arena than just Leia would have been.
Yep.
And I've been able to, especially with some of the datacrons, like the datacrons and the deflection with the Kylo Ren teams, are I can beat Leia's and Jabba's are a full auto type of thing. Like they were super easy. So I'm going to be sad that goes away, but happy there'll be new First Order ones on there when that comes. So I think I'll still be able to do that. But I just need Nisa and Lobot are the only ones that aren't relicked. And then I am at like, most of them are within 2 of where they need to be. So like if they need 7, they're at 2. So I should be like getting the Leia event in the next hopefully 2 to 3 weeks. But I spent all those like all my crystals that I built up, I spent on profundity because unlike Sarah, then I went and saved up to get it to 7-star. Like that's where because I'm a long-term investing type of guy. This came back really easily. Like I am now raking it in. Like I'm getting if I'm getting 300 to 400 crystals every single day now, like every month I'm looking at 10K crystals. So that's more than gonna pay back for what I would have done. For that. But then there's all these other like if you want to hear my list of what I have: Kelleran Beck, Second Sister, Hunter, Tech, Wrecker, Paz, Seer, Bossnass, Tarful, Stop, and Saw are all on my favorite lists.
That's a lot.
On top of like needing to do the other, like I don't like Kyrotech. Like should I be doing that instead of getting these characters or not? And that doesn't even include then the ships. So then because those are the worst because none of those are accelerated.
Yeah.
So I'm doing whatever. So who's on that? The IG-12 and Grogu, Iden Versio's ship, Rose's ship. There's one other. Oh, the Bad Batch ship.
Oh yeah, that's a good ship.
But like all of those I'm currently working on for getting there. But then when I get them there, I don't have enough Kyro to get them all up anyway. So but I know playing this game long enough that it's just like I don't want to be stuck with, oh, this one's really important. And now I'm at 40 out of 65 on this ship.
Yeah.
And instead of it being like, well, now I just need to get more Kyro, it's like, I need Kyro and 3 months to farm this.
It's always the shards that hold you back.
So that was it's all sorts of stuff. And then teams I totally ignore, like Inquisitors, Bad Batch. I brought it before. I'm definitely gonna get Third Sister. She's gonna be my first Inquisitor that's above whatever. That one sister was on there just because of her ship.
Yeah.
Because I'll get that through Proving Grounds got unlocked, but the rest of them are unlocked, like just sitting there in there, quiet, nothingness.
The good news with third,
like the Omicrons that you added to all of them.
Yeah, we're gonna get the same use out of their leads.
Yeah.
You're just putting resources into it. So
the Inquisitors are fun. Everyone like hated their release cadence and how like CG just shoved them down our throats.
Yeah.
And they were
different than just like normal Marquee stuff.
It was
it
was like a ton of Inquisitor. It was like 6 months straight of Inquisitors like releases and stuff. And then it was just Inquisitor feats everywhere in Conquest.
Yeah.
And like you could not ignore, like CG was basically beating us over the head not to ignore Inquisitors. And people kept doing it. And then they're like, hey, Reva's coming to TB and you need Inquisitors. And yeah, it was a whole thing. And people still don't like them. But
I think they're great.
They're fun.
They're their own faction, their empire, and their unaligned force users. And those last two just seem to pop up into everything. And there's ways to tie them into just about everything. So
yeah, I wish I had them. Yeah. But they're not even like they would be the new Night Sisters for me.
Yeah.
Like, there's no realm in which I would like they still take way more resources than getting Bo-Katan Mandalore
Yeah.
would. Like, they'd take twice as many Cairo and
Mhm.
all the rest to do that. So it's silly for me to go after them when I can get a better team for slightly less resources, and that's only going to compound from here. So unless it becomes a Lightspeed bundle type of thing, I don't see that happening soon.
Right. Yeah. Pico, what are you working on?
Well, because this is the week of bad ideas. I
Like
am...
having me on.
and I hope Savitar isn't actually on in chat anymore, because I listened to his... All right, I watched his comments today about what a terrible idea it is to take the Mandalores to Relic 9 for that combat mission, because it doesn't mean anything. And I'm like, oh, I'm halfway into taking that team into Relic 9. So yes, I'm working on taking the Mandalorians up to Relic 9 so that I can run a combat mission that we frankly just don't need, because I want to. Because I'd like to get waves and territory battles, and I'm gonna do it. So
why not?
I'm just drastically out of droid brains. And now that we have found ourselves in the gauntlet and we get one for a loss, it's going to take me a very long time to finish these up. So I should have thought about that before I put Relic 9 on half of the team.
I don't want to be in the gauntlet anymore.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Don't like it.
Is that you guys get? So we had recently like 2 totally outclassed. Like we're probably like 460 maybe in GP, and then we were against like 2 580 ones, and then now we're against 361.
Yeah,
there's no that. I'm glad to see that hasn't changed one bit. Like it was, you're either super outclassed or we were crushing them. Like we haven't had one that was just like, oh, that was a tight battle.
We got paired with Maw this time, like the top Maw, and I was like,
It went well.
I was like, why are like I get we need to practice, but also come on.
We all got hand delivered letters from a paired person within their guild, handwritten. Please pull down your pants and spank yourself is what that handwritten letter said, and we were obligated to do so. That was kind of how it played out.
Yeah. I don't want to be there anymore.
I don't want to be there. Yeah.
So
we have found ourselves in territory wars, so we're at the point now that we are going to be matched with a guild that is massively outclasses us, and then we fall down and we massively outclass someone else, and then like
is that what it is? Is there a ranking? Okay.
There is. Yeah.
And I didn't know this. This was news to me, but I think it's like you can't get paired with somebody that you last faced in the last, is it like 12?
11 matches. Yeah.
So it has, if your next 11 GP that you would be paired with, you face them all, it'll bump you to the next person.
Yeah.
Or to the next guild, I should say. So I think that's what ended up happening.
Which that's not terrible, but when it like in theory, but when it makes to getting ones that are just so wildly.
Yeah,
because like for us, it's we end up facing a guild that we're not going to beat, and yet we try to at least get to the back wall, but we're not going to win that. So it's there's not a lot of incentive to log back in, and then when you go get someone else, one, you've got a group that's beating their head against the wall against us, which we just got done doing. It's not fun, and we ripped through everything, and we're done in 2.5, 3 hours from that side. So, and again, like every 6 or 7 times we finally get paired with someone that it's an appropriate match, and those are a lot of fun. But those are becoming a little few and far between from that side.
Okay, all right, just seeing that because that's definitely what I've experienced.
It needs
on the same hand, you're like, it's a fun match if it's close, but if you lose, you're like, and you wanted those droid brains, you're like, obviously, like one of those.
Yeah.
Like either way, you kind of feel bad about like, we crushed them, but I do like the rewards.
Yeah.
And we've gotten to the point that we can pretty much predict when we're going to get the easy matchup. So that the call will come out like, even if you're busy this week, join. Like if you can't do anything, just join, because we're going to make sure that we all kind of get the payout that's associated with the win from that side. Because we only ask people if you can't like this is a territorial war weekend, isn't it? If I were going to be out of town this weekend, I would likely not join, just because I wouldn't have time. I wouldn't have time to be able to contribute my fair share. But if it's a gimme weekend, like the call will come out like, just join regardless, who cares? So
yeah. I'm farming Gungans still, guys.
Gungans.
What does that look like for you? Will you planning for 3 months, Jar Jar?
Yeah, I will have him in 3 months. So boss, I'm doing 2 refreshes on a day, which I can probably slow down, to be honest, because it's only the beginning of May. I don't need to go crazy on them. And Carpal Tunnel's now in Cantina, so I'll probably have him done in the next 2 weeks, which is great. And Phalanges and shipments now.
And Phalange they can't. Did we have a gap in between?
Boomadeer.
Yeah. Was there a gap in there at all, or was it 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks?
He doesn't get a fun name. He's just Boomadeer.
Yeah, he's just Boomadeer.
I'm gonna check, because I don't honestly know.
I think they can't. I don't think that we had a gap, which would put in 2 weeks. That would put.
So Boomadeer was March 28th, and Phalange was April 11th.
So that's 2 weeks. So right about the time that you're wrapping up Tarpals, you should see the next one actually go farmable at that point as well.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So Tarpals was March 6th, and Boomadeer was March 28th. So.
Oh, so there was a bigger gap there. Yeah.
So it'll probably be like at least 3 weeks before she gets a node, but that's okay. That's fine.
What else does Sarah not have?
That's it.
Wow. Okay, that's what I didn't know.
Yeah.
Last year was my year of catching up to everything. So it was very weird.
On hard work or spending some loons?
I think I did a little of both. Yeah, I definitely I wailed on. I shouldn't say whale. Sorry, I spent money on Jedi Cal.
What level of whale? Over easy.
Over easy.
Medium?
I think it was like $200 or $300. Maybe no, it was probably about $200 to get Jedi Cal.
Yeah, you spent on Cal, and then you did a Lightspeed bundle for.
I did.
Did you do a Lightspeed bundle for one of the Galactic Legends to accelerate something?
I just did it because I wanted the characters.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't accelerate anything. I finally finished Lord Vader painfully with that Bad Batch grind. I think like Jedi Cal was my big spend last year. And really that
you have like Afra and
I have Afra.
What else is another team that I'm not even Sana? How do you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have Bo.
Yep. Oh, nice, cool.
Afra, though, you waited the full year on Afra, didn't you?
I did, yeah. And I think it just was like me dragging my feet and finishing other because she's really like a luxury.
Yeah,
she's not needed. And I say that as somebody who has her now and doesn't really use her.
Well, every once in a while she gets a datacron. She's great.
Yeah.
Well, she has that datacron, and then she kind of falls off when she doesn't.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I guess I technically don't have Leviathan done.
Yeah, but that's her fun one. Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
That's more principle than anything.
Yeah. Then it's just just Jar Jar. So
Okay, how about then? Oh yeah, great. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
you're good.
I need advice after or while I'm finishing up Leia.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I got her unlocked, now I'm doing all the stupid ticket stuff. Should I like focus on Kenobi, which I'm fairly-ish close to? I probably got like 10 of the 16 or something like that.
Do you have Cat?
Or do I use the same amount of Kyrotech to like finish Marin, I have Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, 7 stars, but I'm just so far off on Kyrotech, and then I need to get regular Moff Gideon is still in purple-ish.
Yeah.
And there's like 2 or 3 like what's her name? Iden Versio. Like, should I do that group, or do I go for Kenobi?
Do you have Cat?
No, but that's the one that I spent some of the MK, like she's in the shop.
Oh, she's in the shop.
Yeah.
So you could.
So that's the one that I was like, I had paralysis there on what to do.
Yep.
And I actually topped out at the, like I maxed it out because I wasn't paying attention to it at the 20,000. I was like, oops, I should spend
Oh,
these.
yeah, because they capped it.
So then I started spending on her. I could have her unlocked in, I think she's 60 away, so 20 content. Like she's 3 months. But I haven't been pushing that because I'm like, well, I'm not going to use her if I don't have Kenobi.
She can go with Rey really nice. She can go with Padme.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right. So I could keep spending those on her. Like then I could get her a month or 2 earlier.
If you don't have her, there's no point to get Kenobi, in my opinion.
Yes.
I will have her, like I could have her before him. If we're doing that, should I go? Because Kenobi's clearly a great team. I just don't like, do I want 4 B teams or 1 A team? Or maybe it's like 2 B teams and 2 C teams and 1 A team.
I would still, if you're that close to Cat, I would look at getting Kenobi only because he either becomes a really strong team you put on defense that can start blocking some things for you, or
that's what I sure have troubles against it.
Yeah, or the Cat leap just
Yeah.
fixes so many problems in the game right now. There's so many characters that just can be solved by Cat just throwing them off the board and it's gone.
Even if you lost, like the leader's gone, so you.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'd also be curious on what your Hut cartel is like.
Yeah, I was going to ask that same question.
That's a really strong team.
Yeah.
That over the other ones? Like that one is, well, that's not true. Like I have Bausch, how are we saying that?
Boosh.
Ooh, boy, wasn't this that one? Is that a Canadian Sarah way to say it, or is that how most people?
I wish it was a Canadian Sarah way to say it.
So like I got that. I got Lando up there, but like Kersantin. Am I close on that one?
Nope, you got it spot
on. Like he's like 20 out of 25 unlocked type of thing. So, but he's a Cantina. Like that wouldn't be that hard. Yep. It's just a matter of like the Cairo and all the above. So I'm pretty far from that.
Hut Cartel is a really good team.
Yeah, they're really strong. They're strong in GAC. They're strong in territory battles. They're strong in conquest.
Yeah.
So similarly, then, like that would be I got 4 out of 16 on him.
Also, when you get Jabba, you get that Smuggler's Run 2 event. Where you get all of that extra mod, like slicing and like all.
That would be nice.
All of that. It is unreal.
Yep.
Like that's a huge factor.
Well, then curse you guys. There goes Dark Trooper Moff Gideon even farther. I have all, except for the Kersantin, I have all of them at 7 star. It's just a matter of stupid Kiro and relics. But all right.
Yeah,
that was my Discord corner.
Fair.
I mean, saying that, like, I'm like, oh, thanks, done. That's like a full 9 to 12 months of my life.
Yeah,
Hey, but now you have a plan.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah. Unlike the road ahead for Sarah.
sad. All right, I think we did it.
I think we did.
Almost 3 hours later.
People are gonna be
Sorry,
excited
that's on
tomorrow.
me. So many questions for the
People are gonna love it. The longer, the better.
Yeah, people are gonna be excited tomorrow.
Which is what she said. You're welcome. Had to get.
never ever.
Did she really? Did she really?
Probably not, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that's what she. That was not one of the things that she said. Unlike that.
Faye, do you wanna do the honors and just go full circle?
I would be honored. I appreciate both of you having me on.
Yeah.
By the way, old times, fun times.
It's always good to
People
catch
are
up.
doing.
It was great having you on.
I listened to 2 episodes previous to this, and I was like, "This is great. This is way better than when I was on there." Got a lot of listeners. Live stream. You're doing great. Keep it up, and that'll do it until next time. Chewie, we're home.
I think I could stop the recording. We're still
Recording
still on
stopped.
the stream for now.